obviously the average client executive isn't going to have that.
Okay,
Not
so
that you're not the average executive, John.
I've never been average at anything. And I say that while YouTube is running and hearing my every word.
Magic happens live. Every Friday we're on air.
I'm Liv.
Thrive. From screen share to breakout rooms, we push.
You live here too, do you?
So sit back,
I live
and let's see what's
in the Zoom test kitchen.
Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. We'll dive into the settings, explore every single tab. Make sure your mic is clear, your camera not a drab. We'll show you how to host.
Did you hear that? I've just realized they've told us to make sure that our mic Latta, is clear.
We're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. Whether you're new to Zoom or an expert in disguise, we've got tips and tricks. We'll open up your eyes. From polls to quizzes, we test functionalities. Join us live, see what Zoom does with ease. So if your meetings lag, or you can't share your screen, or if your audio echoes like you're stuck in between, we've got solutions. We'll show you how it's done. Zoom Test Kitchen, where Zoom fun has begun. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. So tune in, don't miss out on this tech fest we lead. Every Friday, Zoom Test Kitchen, where you'll succeed. We'll make your Zoom meeting smooth, keep the tech in check. In the Zoom Test Kitchen, we've got your back, no wreck. So tune in, don't miss out on this tech fest we lead. Every Friday, Zoom Test Kitchen, where you'll succeed. We'll make your Zoom meeting smooth, keep the tech in check. In the Zoom Test Kitchen, we've got your back, no wreck. These lyrics capture the essence of what the Zoom Test Kitchen does, focusing on testing and teaching about Zoom functionalities in a fun, engaging way. We're zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. We've got your back, no wreck. We've got your back, no wreck. These lyrics capture the essence of what the Zoom Test Kitchen does, focusing on testing and teaching about Zoom functionalities in the fun, engaging way.
Well, hi, everyone. Oh, press the wrong button. Hi, everyone. Good to see you. Welcome to the kitchen. Good to have everyone here. It's a special session, or is it? Maybe it's just Zoom Test Kitchen Plus. I don't know. What could it be? Let's make the rounds and say hi first. I see Robert. How you doing, sir?
Very good. You make me laugh. That is really good. I've always said to you that one of the attributes of Zoom Test Kitchen is that it's, even though it's educational, it's also entertaining. It's really good. So
it's nothing else.
Oh, no. It is more than that. Good to see you, David.
How are you? You good?
I'm good. Good. Very good. Thank you. Signed the biggest contract of the year today, so I'm really pleased. So.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow. That's awesome. All right. Good for you. John Drinkwater, how are you, sir? We can't hear you. And I didn't log in with my other client, so I can't unspotlight myself if I'm... I'm not spotlight.
I'm wet.
You're wet?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
We've actually had rain.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I had to check in AI Companion what it was because it's been so long. But
What rain
we've
is?
had some rain. We've had some rain, yeah.
Well, there you go. All right. Well, dry off. Take a few minutes. We're glad to have you here next to the very wet Ray Franklin. I don't even know what that means. Ray Franklin, how are you, sir?
Damp at least. This is summer in Florida, and we get rain.
Yeah, that's
roughly,
true.
What, 2:30, 3 o'clock every afternoon.
Every single day. Yep. How you doing?
All is good, David. Good to be
Beautiful.
here.
Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And I see Mike Latta. How you doing, Mike? Mr. Mike?
Doing good. Hello, YouTube audience.
I'm thought of
looking
you
forward to all the questions today.
I thought of you today, Mike.
You did?
I did, because I was looking for a solution for something and I ended up on Reddit, which pushed me to somewhere, I don't know, where you get open source software, and it and I was ready to download it until I saw that it said that this works really, really well for Linux users. At which point I said, if this is something that Linux users use, I'm not going to understand it. And so I just walked away. So I was thinking about you because I knew that you would actually get it.
It takes a bit of, yeah, if it is open source and it's based on Linux, yes, considering you are from the Mac environment, it doesn't have 100%
No.
cross capabilities.
You're
So
absolutely right about that.
but it could probably easily be modified for the Mac environment because it's not that far off. As
Oh,
compared
no,
to
I think it worked on Mac. I think there was probably a download for Mac. I just knew when I saw Linux that even if I downloaded it on Mac, I wouldn't understand it. So I just gave up.
Don't give up.
I'm just saying.
It's friendly.
You know
It
who
won't-
doesn't give
won't
up
hurt
ever? You know who never gives up? Mr. Tony Mobley. Never. He's just trucking along. He's going and going and going.
And he's got that Heil. Let's see if he found the new
Yeah,
button.
except he does it very quietly.
I know. He's very discreet.
He's very discreet about trucking along. Hey, Tony.
Hello. The mute button is playing tag with me. It's going on and off. So this is a new experience, but I am doing well. Glad to be here. Looking forward to this important conversation. I think it's an important conversation.
This important session, yes. I think it's going to be a great session to talk about. I'm excited for this session. Peter Sargent, are you excited for this session?
Absolutely. Not to mention it's the start of a 3-day weekend here in the US. So
Yes, it is. I could not be more excited about that.
so
need
for
this
Mike,
so
I have a
bad.
question for you. So what's the largest install base of a true Unix out there?
What's the largest install base? Well, aren't you getting specific with me? Install base. I would
dating
say
myself by using that term too, but that's
yes, you are. Yes, you are. You did. Oh, and I'm getting the Jeopardy minute on me here too. Okay. No copyright strikes, please. So the official answer would be, and you did say Linux, correct? You did not
No,
say
I said
Unix.
Unix. I said Unix.
Oh,
True
you did
Unix.
say Unix.
A true
Ah,
Unix. A true Unix.
all right. So I will have to officially say then BSD.
You're close. BSD begat Next Step, begat iOS and Mac OS. So
Okay.
it's interesting when you say things should work on from Linux onto onto
Wait,
Mac
are you
OS.
saying that Mac is actually the largest Linux install base?
No, Unix install base. Unix.
Oh,
a
it's the largest
true-
Unix install base.
the
Okay.
true
Yes.
the true Unix operating system. It
Right,
happens to have its, Aqua, which is its front page on Mac OS is just a skin.
There you go.
Underneath it is Underneath it's Unix.
I'm
And
a
all the
Unix
Unix
user.
commands work. So for those of us who know Unix command line, we can do interesting things on Mac OS.
I love it. I'm a Unix user.
Well, if you have an iPhone, it's Unix too.
There you go. I don't even know what that means, but it makes me so happy. You know who does know what that means? Smartest person in the room, Josh Bragg.
Not even close. Not even close.
Definitely. How are you, sir?
What's up? Thanks for having me. Glad to be here.
So good to have you here. Really, really grateful that you are taking the time. We were actually talking the other day on a different show. We were talking about Zoom Test Kitchen. Maybe some of you here know this actual history. But okay, stop with the things. It's like annoying. Stop, John, stop pressing the button.
I like it when it makes
you
them
on
like
YouTube.
a big one.
Who
I
can't
like it when it
see
makes it
this.
a big one.
It's like, it's just, it's
I can
beautiful.
send you an app to stop it.
It's a, oh God, here we go again. So wait, we were having a conversation about Zoom Test Kitchen, the name Zoom Test Kitchen, and whether Zoom heard about this before my time, got upset that we were using the name Zoom and had a talk with us. I don't know if any of this is true or if it's just a story. And then realized that, well, gosh, we could just keep sending Josh on along with, other folks. And this could actually be a wonderful way to connect with the community. So I don't know if that's true or not, but I'm so glad you're here, Josh.
I don't know. I'm just here. Good to see you guys.
And I found your avatar. I hope you didn't mind. I found your avatar on Zoom somewhere from some.
Oh, that's great.
Events
No,
thing.
it was fun. It's great.
So, Josh, why are you here?
Yeah, well, here to answer questions. Always love hanging out with the Test Kitchen. Come here a few times. So we have had a handful of announcements recently, including kind of a one big one on Monday with renaming of one of our products. So would love to share a little bit about that, take some questions about that. But we kind of have had a really interesting summer, honestly, from the Zoom webinars and events side. And I think it's just a good time to remind everybody of sort of some of the progress that we've made. So for those of you who maybe don't know me, my role is really to communicate with the community about our releases and our products and kind of what we're doing and what we're thinking, as well as take feedback back to the team. So that's kind of my everyday role. So doing something like this is right up my alley. So yeah,
really so grateful for this. We when Zoom announced Zoom Hub, we all were kind of joking that Zoom has a naming issue because we have Zoom Hub in two places, and sessions always seemed, it was always difficult to talk about because you had a session, but it wasn't necessarily a sessions session. So what changed on Monday?
Yeah, so what changed on Monday, thanks for setting up, is we announced the rename of Zoom Sessions. Zoom Sessions was a license type, an introductory kind of license type, mid-tier license type to our product webinars and events platform. That still is true, but now it is Zoom Webinars Plus. So that's the big announcement. I don't know where your sound effects are in here, but that's the big announcement. We have released, is the right word here, released Zoom Webinars Plus as of Monday. So it is a name only change. There's not a license a change. There's not a functionality change. So everything we used to do with Zoom Sessions, we can continue to do. I'd love to talk through that if that's what you guys kind of want to talk about here, what we can do, what we can't do, what works, what doesn't. Would love to help that. But yeah, it's kind of John's kind of mentioned it here in the chat. It feels a little more like a reposition of this product. I think I agree with that. We are finding that our biggest customers are coming from webinar. Webinar's our second biggest product. I don't know if that's necessarily a secret after meetings. It's a massive product. It's a tried and true, flagship webinar product. That's great. And we've had now this Plus product for a while, but we've had probably some awareness problems, some understanding problems. We're trying to address that with Webinars Plus. So you have the pricing page there. So if we want to talk about that, you're welcome to.
So now you just confused me a little bit. So we've always had, Zoom Webinars Plus isn't new?
We have renamed Zoom Sessions.
No, that I understand.
Zoom Webinars Plus.
Webinar Plus, it did pre-exist this change or no?
Nope.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought that's what I heard you say. Okay. So basically we've got Zoom Webinars Plus, and Zoom Events. And Zoom Webinars Plus has the exact same pricing. So what a lot of folks do, if
Yep.
they just want the liminal apps, for example, is they tit this down to 50. This, by the way, this picker is new, which is, I think, much better. I hadn't actually seen this until now, but now you can, it's all in one. So it obviously starts there,
Yeah.
I think.
Versus toggling in between. Yeah.
Right. Before you had to physically toggle between yearly and
Yep.
annual subscription and PP paper attendee.
Paper attendee. Yeah.
So
So we think, I mean, a couple of reasons maybe why. One, just an awareness issue. Again, our install base of webinars is huge, and we have this premium product. So we want to be very clear that we have a premium product that customers can move to that next level with. Also, just a general sort of awareness that, hey, we offer something new. So I think even with Zoom sessions that felt a little maybe abstract to some people, we as salespeople, demo people spent a lot of time, probably you guys too, explaining what it was before we ever got to say why it was interesting or powerful for event folk. But yeah, so that's what it does. We still have, let's talk about sort of what it does, if that would be okay. What it does is unlock sort of two things. And do you have the web portal? I'll let you drive. If you want to just keep driving, you're welcome to. But you just go to like zoom.com, and we have now 3 products in the zoom.com main menu there in the main account side. So you'll see those tabs in there. Under your DP there.
Account side. Whoops. The main account side.
Yeah, so go hit your DP, like where you would schedule a webinar.
Sorry, lost my mouse. Where the hell's my mouse? Come on. Here we go.
We're searching the web.
There we go. Sorry about that. Where
We're
do you
doing live TV, guys. Don't overthink it.
Go up to DP.
So your name nomenclature up there.
I know.
Far right.
I
Gotcha.
can't annotate on your screen.
Gotcha.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah, so you see there on the left, webinars plus, and events. So we have 3 sort of different tiers. We think even just that is a really nice piece of visibility in our products. We want to make sure that everything's front and center. But yeah, if you maybe want to stay kind of here for a second and look around, what Webinars Plus offers is 2 things. One, it unlocks premium features for webinars. So Backstage, Production Studio. I would love to talk about Production Studio a little bit here. And it unlocks the ability then to jump over to our full events platform. So we still have a 2-platform system, if you want to kind of call it that. We have sort of classic webinars, which with Webinars Plus get new features. And we have the events platform where you can also schedule webinars. So that will continue to be something we are continuing to work on. Eventually we'll consolidate it at some point. That would certainly be our trajectory at some point. But for today, that's where some of that is. And John, maybe just kind of address like the pricing page and some of that stuff. That is still going to be some distinction. There's still going to be certain things that you can only do on the main events webinar and events portal that you can't do in the web portal, and vice versa. Things integrations are different. The API is different. There's a handful of things that are different. So open to questions here, but yeah, primarily it's an upgrade play for webinars. Come to Plus, get access to all these premium features immediately. You don't need to go into the new portal if you don't want to. And if you do, and a lot of customers are now moving into the new portal, you're certainly welcome to. So we think it kind of gives a good, better plus, best kind of experience.
So real quick, before other people jump in, just basic questions. So is this content here? This is literally the same. You just changed the title. So nothing has changed as far as.
That's correct. Yep.
Okay. And before, when you purchased a sessions license, you had to set up a hub. Is that still a thing?
That's still a thing. Yep.
So literally the only thing that changed is the name. Gotcha.
That's correct. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Perfect. John and Robert, go ahead.
Thanks for coming, Josh. As you know, we've already been running a few shows and talking about this. And one of the comments, of course, was the big jump in price between webinars and Webinars Plus. However, I've just done a little bit of maths here. So if I have a 500 seat license, which is the one I usually operate under, and I'm running 4 webinars a week. They're costing me under $15 a webinar. That's really good value. I can have up to 500 people in that event. I've got all the features. So thank you very much.
Yep.
I love it. And that's the answer I'm going to give to anybody who suggests it's expensive. Please don't put the price up in reflection of this, though. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for saying that. I mean, I do think I think a couple of things. What does Zoom bring to this space? The number one thing it brings is reliable video quality. That's the number one thing it brings. Webinars Plus brings now enhanced features. And I really feel like, especially with some of the things we've done with Production Studio this year and what we're starting to do with On Demand, I think we're starting to be a really aggressive play, not just sort of a standard, everybody needs a meeting or a webinar. We're starting to be an aggressive premium product at still a very understandable, reasonable price, especially when we're talking enterprise. That's true definitely for us sort of solo operators too, but especially enterprise. It's a very, very affordable platform that can, we're going up against other event platforms often, and now more video on demand platforms often. And I would not say we're a value play necessarily, but we are an extremely reasonable, an extremely reasonable way to execute, produce live content, host live events, and kind of do it all in one ship. So you can do a ton with a Webinars Plus license in short. So,
Josh,
Robert?
real quick question before Robert jumps in.
Yeah.
This is from Ray on YouTube. These buttons over here, Webinars Plus and Events. If you have, I have a sessions license, which I guess now is called a Webinar Plus license.
Yep.
His comment is shouldn't, when I click on this, why isn't it taking me directly to the Webinars Plus portal rather than a sales page? Since I already have this, especially.
Yeah, great comment. Let me share my screen. I'm a little curious why yours looks different than mine. Couple of things. What we've designed, and Hove, not quite sure why you're not seeing this quick start portion, but we tried to design this product page to explain sort of our 2 portal issues. So I kind of think we played a touch of whack-a-mole here. We've definitely solved. Webinars Plus is easier to understand what the value is. We still have sort of a 2 portal world, and that'll continue. So we tried to explain that here, which is why we didn't immediately take users to the new portal, because we do talk to users all the time who really are just upgrading to get Backstage or to get Production Studio, and they never really intend on moving over to the fuller event experience, except maybe once a year or something like that for their larger scale thing. But their day-to-day webinars, John, your 4 webinars a week, to some extent, if you're not wanting to really upgrade or change your workflow a whole lot, great, stay right here. What this quick start does is just leaves you right here. This takes me right back to our webinar page. I could see, we talked about embedding the webinar page on Webinar Plus or something like that, but we want to just keep it fairly distinct. And now I can schedule a webinar with premium features, or under the full experience, I can jump over into the actual webinars and events platform. So yeah, that's how we at least thought about it. I don't know why you're not seeing the quick start section. But.
Yeah, it's weird. Maybe it's, I don't know.
I know.
You know?
Yes.
Why?
Let me explain it to you. I have a subscription license and a pay-per-attendee license for sessions. On my subscription license, I see exactly what Josh has. On my pay-per-attendee license, I only see the one option of going into the sessions like an event session.
That makes a ton of sense. Yeah.
So it does make sense. And that's the difference. Oh, now you're seeing the right thing, are you?
No, this is still him. No, this is still Josh's page you're looking at.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So PPA does not give you a webinar license in the web portal when you have a PPA. You still have to do everything in the hub. So we've created that to be really distinct there. So.
Gotcha. Robert, go for it. Go ahead.
Yeah, I put my hand back up because I was just answering that question that you had asked. But I'm so happy that Josh is here because, Josh, when you say that your role is just to communicate with the community, as a member of that community, when we come onto office hours, you do so much more sharing, teaching, answering questions, helping us resolve problems. So it's not just communicating with the community.
Thank you. I'm blushing. Thank you.
I'm blushing. And the other thing is, if we go back to the pricing page on the website, you can do that in the portal.
I can do that for you if he can.
Yes, please.
Hold on a second. And some pricing.
You know, there's something really cool. Now you can see it very clearly. That the Pro Plus, sorry, no, that's not what we're looking for. Webinars and events. Okay, the Zoom Webinar Plus and the Zoom events are actually connected to each other. The Zoom webinars are like a separate entity, showing that Zoom Webinar Plus is part of the events platform and gives you all the additional tools from the Liminal portfolio.
That's a really good point.
So that's one distinction. The other thing, Josh, I saw your picture today when I was downloading the Liminal, the Zoom graphics tool in beta. You're up there, and I thought, this is cool. Yeah, and we just talked about it, so that's nice.
One thing I'll draw, thank you for that. I will draw a distinction here too on the Zoom event side. Zoom events gives you all of this. So for a lot of customers, right, that's the good, better, best. A lot of customers are starting to see, oh, shoot, maybe I just need that unlimited 500. I can do whatever I want all year long. I can run webinars in the web portal. I can run single session events. I can run hybrid recurring. I can run that conference or that regional meetup or add a hybrid component to it. I can do a ton with a Zoom events license. And yeah, there's a price point for it, but that gets you, kind of unlocks the whole platform. So we have lots of customers that choose to go that route. So, or mix and match.
I think there's another way of looking at it as well, Josh, is that if you have the Webinar Plus license, you can run a webinar, just an ordinary webinar.
Yep.
And I think that's a distinction that it sort of makes it pretty obvious what's going on there, because you're not running anything to do with the events platform. You're just running a plain old webinar, just like you used to.
Completely. Absolutely unlocks that. Yeah. So it unlocks the whole kit and caboodle, as they say.
Josh, do you want to talk a little bit about some of that kit and caboodle? Maybe the broadcast studio, things like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and with that, another really big announcement that we made this week is we've moved Production Studio to the cloud. And this is a super exciting change in architecture. We have moved the rendering since Production Studio was released. It was a local rendering process on the local client. So one of the strengths of Production Studio is that it's in the client. It's not another piece of software you have to stitch in. It's just built right into Zoom, which is great. But it had hardware and obviously internet requirements. So we've moved that to the cloud, which unlocks a lot of interesting possibilities. So one, obviously it unlocks performance. So performance, just anecdotally for me, is way snappier. It's way less demanding on my local machine. I'm not now dealing with a bunch of video feeds and mixing them and sending them back up. I'm just managing Production Studio, which is really, really exciting. So I find it snappier, it's cleaner, the performance is better and more efficient. Also, it's unlocked the ability for us to now improve Production Studio, and we really intend on doing that over this next stretch of time. For example, we've now released videos in scenes. So you can now use Production Studio to seamlessly and flawlessly replay video content as your scene. So now we can kind of do our full run of show without also executing a share screen or anything like that. And that's made possible now by this move to rendering in the cloud. So for users, they don't have to do anything. This is switched out. It's hitting most data centers, probably done this by this Friday, I think. So it's hit most places. You don't have to do anything different except launch Production Studio. It doesn't look any different. It just looks like running Production Studio, but it's all operating in the cloud now. So if you are running it, you may notice a performance increase. I have, but if you haven't, it might be a time to recheck it out. So yeah.
And remind us, because it's always been a little bit of whack-a-mole trying to figure out what things you get with what subscriptions. So do you get Production Studio with Webinars Plus and with Zoom Events? Do you get it with PPAs or just with subscriptions?
Yep. Anything other than a Webinars license will unlock Production Studio. Yep. Anything above a Webinars license. So premium features that are Webinars Plus and above are Backstage, Production Studio, in-session resources. So those are those calls to action that pop up or slide out in the sidebar, however you go about that. Webinar breakout rooms is a premium feature only available with the upgrade. And I'm probably Simulive is the big one there. So, and then Simulive is only available with a plus or higher license type.
And the on-demand feature as well, Josh.
Yeah, and then once you get into plus and then over to the events portal, now you're playing with 300 viewers a month for our basic sort of video channel functionality. And then there's a lot going to be announced at Zoomtopia. That's a very nebulous growing area for us is on demand. So lots of new announcements there. We really see a big future in helping customers not just make content with Zoom, they are, but actually publish content, organize content, distribute content also on Zoom. So more to come on Zoom from Zoomtopia on that.
I just want to go back for a moment to what's available with what plan or
Sure.
So one of the both confusing but wonderful parts about the liminal inclusion in what was called sessions, meaning that is to say you can, if you purchase a 50-seat PPA Zoom Webinars Plus license, you get access to all, or anything above that, you get access to all the liminal apps.
Yep.
And you can use those, yes, and you can use those outside of webinars or events. That was both the confusing piece, but also the wonderful piece, is that you're purchasing a Webinars Plus, but like in my case, I don't really use webinars. I purchased it so that I could use the liminal apps in meetings.
Yep.
But to clarify, all the other stuff, the backstage, all that other stuff, that is restricted to webinars and events. So even though I have access to some of the stuff, some of the goodies that I get with my Webinars Plus account, like liminal, I can use those anywhere. Other things I can't, those are only in Webinars Plus and events. Is that correct?
Yep. And that makes sense. I mean, those are,
absolutely.
First of all, they're all third-party apps, right? Obviously, right? So really what does a PPA 50 in kind of your case get you? It unlocks those apps. You can join webinars, events, meetings, whatever you want to do and manipulate them. So don't want to miss the forest for the trees. We did release, speaking of which, Andy released the graphics toolkit this week in open beta. So it's been in beta for a minute, but a closed beta. It's an open beta. So anybody can now go download it and start to manipulate that. I've used it in shows. I've used it in office hours before. I don't have it set up right now, but we could have a conversation with Andy about that later. So really powerful tool. I'm sure you'll see plenty of that at Zoomtopia as well. So yeah, absolutely.
I have it here. I'll go ahead and join our meeting with it.
That's great. While you do that, I want to share just Production Studio just to kind of remind people. I do think I think a lot of customers stopped talking about Production Studio when they realized it was rendered on the local machine. That's very scary. It's very intense. It's hardware intensive. And I think that was a deal breaker. I'm seeing a lot of nods in this room. It was such a deal breaker. So I do think it's appropriate for us to bring Production Studio back up because I think it just makes it kind of a new tool. So let me just explain quickly what it is. I have one running too, because I want to show how the videos work. But in general, Production Studio lets you build up to 50 scenes. So here's what a scene looks like. I'm in a webinar session, or I will be in a webinar session. I can build scenes with all kinds of different bits and pieces, like wallpaper, like a piece of media, like my various video tiles or shared content. I can really build out my run of show ahead of time. So there's that. I can assign who's going to be in it. Josh will be in this scene. And now the new update is I can also add video content. So I have a couple of video pieces here that I've uploaded already. We do support up to 2-hour-long files, up to 4 gigs. This is a huge opportunity for us running shows. Is now I can preload this content. In this case, I chose a scene that, there we go. I chose a scene that has a person in it. Maybe I'm going to talk to a demo or something like that. That's great. But you can also see I have full screen scenes as well if I'm just wanting to replay content. Couple of things. I've uploaded this video content in here. One of the really cool things about this is happening now in the Zoom web portal or in the Zoom events portal ahead of time. So a lot of organizations They really, really don't like local hardware. They also hate having to move files around, right? Where's that video file that we're going to play all that? Well, now you just upload, you just build your show. And then whomever that's a host or an alt host joins the show, all of this content will just be ready for them sitting in production studio. So I have all kinds of examples where that would be helpful, including in my case where I'm hosting a lot of different events, for a lot of different people, instead of me having to rely on keeping all of my files organized on my computer or whatnot. It's just preloaded. It's all ready to go in the show. I just launched the shows. So, all right. So I've built a scene. I've added a video. I do kind of just want to point out we support behavior here. So do I want to autoplay it? Do I want to start the video from the beginning or from a certain position? And then when the video ends, do I want it to loop? Do I want it to move on to the next scene? There's some options there. So that's what it looks like to build a scene. I'm going to add one more. Let me save this and just add one more scene here, just for the sake of things you can build. I really dig things that look kind of like this, like a panel vibe that looks a little bit different, where I'm adding a main presenter and a couple of supporting presenters. David, this would be, kind of a look you guys might use some in here. Other things you can do, which you cannot do really quickly almost anywhere else, is change aspect ratios. So I can go very quickly to squares. I can add a border to the images and really create. All I've done is add a wallpaper, create some squares, and I have a vibe. I have a podcast vibe kind of going on that I can really execute. Again, without a third-party piece of hardware, without doing anything really other than running it in the webinar. So I think this kind of thing's really nice. I can pre-assign speakers, or I can do this on the fly when I'm actually operating production studio. So personally, I don't really assign speakers very often, but a lot of people, you could get it really, really preset. So
Josh,
go ahead.
Are you
questions about this?
I'm wondering. Okay, so I do a show on Thursday nights, and I use Ecamm Live, and I have all my scenes created, and people come in through Zoom, and it works brilliantly. I'm not changing that because I have a couple of my panelists here, so don't worry, I'm not changing anything. But I'm wondering if you guys are sort of aiming to grab some of those podcasters, as you said, and say, you know what, just grab a Webinars Plus license, and you don't do it here. Stream it straight from Zoom to YouTube. Have all your guests, your panelists join you in Zoom. Easy peasy, right?
Yeah, I'll address that. My hands popped up too. I think from the beginning, we viewed production studio as arming. Remember, webinars is a massive business for us. And so we wanted to arm users, not high-end technical producers like who are in this room, but your basic webinar. Think of an enablement specialist, an internal communications lead, a marketing event person, an admin. Executive admins are put into situations where they have to execute shows like this, right? So we wanted to give you something to work with. I think, and Andy's running all those partnerships with Ecamm. We're helping drive the Stream Deck plugins. I don't know if we view ourselves as full contact competing with. I will say I hosted a webinar last year with a couple of major enterprise technical producer leads. And one thing they've started to do because of the power of production studio is they've gone to not needing the massive broadcast studio for everything. And so does it eliminate massive broadcast studios? No, but what they have, and this was feedback we heard from them live, people who run, thousands of webinars a month, right? Their teams, they've moved to tiers of shows. Some shows just need a wallpaper. Some shows need production studio. Some shows need a full broadcast studio with 3 to 5 operators, right? And there's a difference between them. So what they have found with production studio is that other tier of, hey, we can execute things quickly. Solo producer, usually maybe another second person running backstage or something. But it's really given them another, what's the right word? Like a pitch to throw, new pitch to throw. Hey, we can throw production studio at this. A single person can execute something really nice, and our executive looks great. So I don't see it as fully contact competing. I mean, we're going to be a long ways away from what an Ecamm's trying to accomplish, and quite the opposite. We want to complement them. But there are some strengths to production studio, not the least of which it's not a third-party piece of gear. It's ready to go. Sure. It's locked and loaded. So yeah,
that's fantastic. John, Mike, and Robert.
I can tell you now that on my 3 shows, I'm going to be putting production studio at the end of whatever tech I have set up.
Yeah.
It's going to be the last thing before it goes out to the audience.
Yep.
And the biggest reason for that, the 2 biggest I'm a Toastmaster, I should have 3, but I can only think of the 2 biggest reasons. The 2 biggest reasons for me are, 1, if I disconnect from the world, my alt host can just take over the production. I haven't got any other kit that I can do that with at the moment without spending horrendous amounts of money. And the second really big important thing for me is there is in cloud recording a specific tick box for production studio. I am fed up with doing lovely presentations online and then seeing the mediocre output that comes when it's just been recorded as a box and hasn't got all the clever graphics and the overlays and all the other things on there. So I'm going to use production studio as the last place before it goes out to my audience for all my shows. However complicated the front is going to be, I agree, it could be complicated sometimes, it might not be so complicated other times, but I'll always finish now in production studio.
So, John, quick follow-up, if I may, and Josh, feel free to chime in here. One of the things that we've noticed here in the kitchen is that a lot of what we do on the back end doesn't go out to YouTube. So, for example, when we do the share screens, the new side-by-side or the PIP share screen, none of that makes it to YouTube. Does all the broadcast studio stuff make it to YouTube?
100%.
If you manipulate it in that way, yes, because what I do is most of my production stuff ends up as a camera. So it might be fancy graphics, it might be overlays, it might be, it might be 3 or 4 pieces of video on the screen, but I'm sending it to Zoom as a 1 camera feed.
Right, but what I'm asking, what if you don't?
So that 1 camera feed gets to YouTube.
Right. No, but what I'm asking is if you build something in a studio, production studio in Zoom without all your fancy stuff, and it has a video camera and it has this and it has an overlay, does that all make it out to YouTube?
Yep.
Yes. The answer is yes. Cool.
Yep. So now we can full record. It's its own file in cloud recordings. Now, you all are familiar with all the different files. It's its own file. Recommend you use that one, right? And then that's the main stream one as well. So I have one to operate too. So when we're kind of ready to talk about that, we can look at it live.
Oh, cool.
Just a second. Yeah.
Awesome. Mike, go ahead.
All right, I'll speak up first because Josh, I want to make sure that you do mention to everyone that has been a question that has come up to my attention related to the different scenes and the capability of, building a larger scene than you actually will need. That's very important.
Yeah, super great comment. And let me just tee up going and looking at it here. So let me share my desktop. So I'm running production studio here. I'm running, by the way, this is all the same machine. My machine's not melting down. My activity monitor. I do have a MacBook Pro, but nothing's melting right now. Everything's fine. And I'm running 2 meetings. So here's what production studio looks like. Again, if you've never run it, maybe this is a nice excuse to do it. I've preset these scenes. You saw me build them. Great. Those can be templated. I can build scene templates, all of that. And now I'm live. This is very different than Ecamm in that I can't manipulate scenes live. And we've kind of done that on purpose because it kind of gets baked into the client where, Mike, if I brought Mike or David, you into this webinar, you could just pick up all these scenes and run with it, right? So it's not as fluid, right? But there's some strengths to that as well. So here I'm running the scenes. It looks like any other video switcher we run. A couple things I'll point out here. I have an active speaker button. So if I ever get in a situation where I hate my scenes or something's not working or we're way off script, I can just push active speaker for the webinar and we just keep trucking, or gallery view again, which is just all live cam. So I can run both of that here while I'm running this show. I have all my scenes preloaded. I have a preview and a program. And then the sources window down here, this would be any of my live presenters. I only have Ed, my fake Ed here. That's all I got. But if I had multiple people, I would have all of the people. One of the things Mike is referring to,
when you say people, you mean
presenters.
Thank you. That in web lingo, presenters, right?
Yep. Awesome. So any of my panelists, any of my speakers that are in my webinar on the main stage, all of this happens only on the main stage. It does not happen from backstage. We are looking kind of after video scenes. The next biggest feature request is people want to operate this backstage. So we're looking at it. Certainly no time frame or anything like that, but could happen in the future. So let's look at what this looks like. I have a scene here. Let's look at video first, and then I'll address Mike's question. So I do have a video. I can scrub it in preview. I can play it and listen to it. I can adjust volume up and down. We set it at kind of a mid tier. So if you need to bump one or pull one back a little bit, you can. And then I have access. I've preset those the behaviors in the scene, but if I want to adjust those video playback behaviors, I can do that here. So what do I want it to do when it starts, and what do I want it to do at the end? So I'm a pretty big fan of start video from the beginning. That's how most of us want to operate a video. Not always. And Ray's question is a good one. Yes, you can scrub. So if I wanted to scrub, I could scrub here and then say start video from last position. When I launch, it starts from where I scrubbed it. So I just launched that scene. That video the scrubber bar didn't click back over, right? It stayed where I had it scrubbed. So if you have video content that you kind of want to, manipulate in some way, you can. The other thing I think is pretty nice is I like going to the next scene automatically in webinar. It's kind of nice for your presenters. So let's say you have a presenter that's going to set up a video, you go to video. Well, now you can just cue them. Hey, when it comes back to you, great, you'll see that. By the way, if you've never seen Production Studio from the panelist side, here's what it looks like. So this is the same view from the same panelist on the webinar view. And I have a Production Studio scene. So it's real easy for all of my presenters to know what's live and what's not, right? Ed knows that he's right there in that screen. He can pin that if you want. Other panelists would be here as well. And there's a video scene there. So
Ray was also asking, and maybe I misunderstood his question, but so you've got Ed in a full screen, and then you are transitioning to what's in your preview now. Actually, sorry.
Yep.
Let me change my question. So, let's say you had a full screen. You went from what's in program now.
Yep.
And you wanted to go to the video in full screen. Exactly.
Yep.
If the video is playing in program now, and then you toggle to the next one, will it pick up where?
Not at this time.
Okay.
No, they're distinct scenes. We are looking at, this is a request I think would be really nice, is some ability to manipulate this video here without like switching scenes and losing my place, but not today. So
okay, so
today, if I do this, it would start
the video over.
Ready to play the next video.
Okay, great.
Yep. So let me show, and this is Mike's question. One of the things that's really nice. So yes, I can't manipulate all these scenes fully live, but we've mitigated that just a little bit by, in this case, I have a 3-box. I could have a 9-box. I could have a whole bunch of different options here. Production Studio is dynamic to who I put in there. So in this case, I only have a single presenter, even though I have space for 3. But Zoom knows that and doesn't jack up your scene. So it actually responds to what you're doing in it. So one best practice here, I'm not even following it here in this demo, but have the largest gallery that you want, right? Just always have that scene as maybe the last scene, because then you always have a quick gallery view, throw whoever you want in it, send it live. So I usually have a couple of scenes built with one person, a few scenes built with a couple of people, so on and so forth. But it does dynamically respond there, which is just a really nice vibe. So again, think about all of us like setting these shows up and then either operating it or giving it to someone to operate. It's pretty simple. It's drag and drop, it's replace, it's remove. We've made it to be really simple. And I can even notify the speaker that, hey, your scene's about to go live, and it gives them a little pop-up and off they go. So I think it's a pretty powerful tool.
Can you control any of this with a Stream Deck?
We're working on that. Andy and I met last week. So yeah.
Great. Okay.
Andy, if you're watching.
Robert, did you want to chime in?
Yeah, 2 things. Josh, if you can just put your screen back on again, your share screen, because this wasn't said explicitly, but it's really, really cool. In the preview, that's in the left window, you could see Ed Robinson and 2 empty boxes that could have been populated with other panelists. Now, when you go across, you only see Ed Robinson. But what wasn't said explicitly is if you have 2 people and one drops off, then that box disappears. It doesn't stay black on the screen, which is really cool. It's really cool. That is so nice. But when he comes back, he'll come back underneath. You'll see him. He's there, and he'll pop up back into his box. So that is a really cool feature. And I just wanted to go back to a question that was asked of you, Josh, about some sort of movement of people from Ecamm to production studio. When I personally was not using production studio in a big way because of it being local.
Yeah.
But now it's in the cloud, I will go back.
Yeah.
I will definitely go back because I love it. The other thing that I've seen is that in the corporate world where you have a lot of departments that are doing webinars, the time to learn production studio is like about this big compared with any of the other production tools. And so they love it. They're doing webinars anyway. And so they're just going to jump up from webinars to Webinar Plus. Yeah. That's the way I see that world changing. It's a completely different segment than the segment of the David Paskins of the world.
Oh, I radically agree. And so back to, do we feel like we're competing? No. I mean, I think there's a place for all kinds of different tools, right? There's a place for a Barco E2 to get involved in a virtual show, right? Like, also, back to marketing campaign manager who wants to run a webinar, that person may or may not have access to those tools, let alone know how to use them. To your point, look at this. It's drag and drop. It's simple. It's not, I don't even have to install a new piece of software. It's in the Zoom client. So I think I'm not trying to sell it. I am trying to sell it, but I'm trying to just show that I think it's super, super simple, super powerful. Also, you're talking about the operator. Forget the operator for a second. Think about bringing a CEO to a show, right? Well, all I need them to do now is join a webinar. That's all I need them to do. I don't need them to click another link. I don't need them to do, I just need them to show up here and then I've got the rest. So you're not having to train presenters any different behavior. You're just having to bring them in and here you go. Maybe you tell them to pin maybe a lot of people stitch in like a timer app or something. Great. Maybe you tell them to pin that. Other than that, they're fully in the webinar. They can chat with attendees. They can respond to Q&A, all the normal webinar things. We haven't created, back in the day, it used to take us 4 different meetings and webinars to stitch together what we wanted. Well, this all just happens in one environment. I think that's pretty interesting. So.
It's really pretty amazing. Can the lower third on Ed, and then Tamara, I'm coming to you. The lower third on Ed, can you talk about how that gets there and what other graphics outside of Zoom graphics toolkit? What other graphics you can use here?
Yeah, so that's a part of our in-session branding functionality. So here's kind of what that looks like. I'll move this out of the way. So I can change this on the fly. So I have some preset looks. So I can show you these. I can't build brand new looks on the fly, but I can go to a green or something like that. So all I have to do is change name tag and virtual background for Ed here. So I can change his name, his title, and the little pronoun box there. So he is in this case. And I can set virtual background. So I can set all this ahead of time for all of my presenters, or I can on the fly manipulate these things. So pretty powerful. I will say one of the things that now moving to cloud architecture is going to open up for us is more ability to do more. And so we have big goals. Lower thirds is absolutely on a list of things we all want to see. By the way, I'm using Production Studio every day. So my list is probably just as long as this team's, right? So Stream Deck, more lower third. So right now, pretty simple. As you can see, that's a pretty simple name tag, but easy to manipulate. And that's about it at this point. And I can turn it on and off.
I can imagine that bringing Zoom Graphics Toolkit in, I mean, just, boy, that's going to just blow the roof off of this as far as graphics.
100%.
Yeah.
100%. So.
Yeah. Amazing. Tamara, go ahead.
Sorry, can I just chime in on one thing?
I was going to say, I think Robert has to jump in.
Yeah, I just wanted to go back to your talk about bringing in a CEO into production studio, because we've also got the backstage, which you haven't mentioned
100%.
yet. So we bring the CEO into the backstage, we prep him, make sure everything's working properly before we put him on stage. And the beauty of using the backstage, of course, is you can end the webinar for the attendees and leave all the panelists on board and have your debrief. And that is lovely.
Yeah, if you're
Tabak.
unfamiliar, I only have one presenter here, so it's a little hard for me to show backstage. I could do it if we want, but you can absolutely run backstage, which is a separate dedicated space where you can watch the webinar. Everybody who's backstage can communicate, come off mute, come on camera. You can even share content back there. So really common would be, hey, our run a show is back there, and somebody's like addressing it or managing it or prepping or whatever. Or you're just prepping. Maybe you're just prepping your speaker. Hey, share your content. Let's make sure you can do it before we send you onto the main stage. All that to say, what he's talking about is with backstage, when it's active, you can enter debrief mode. And I think this is such a cool feature. And Robert, you're saying that as well. So I now have a button where I can end for attendees. So this actually ends backstage. It just collapses all of whoever's on the event panelist side. So hosts, panelists, speakers, all get collapsed into one area. It says debrief at the top, recording stops. And now you can have that conversation. Hopefully it's a positive one. Great job. But sometimes it's not. Oh man, we really mucked something up and we want to do that. So yeah, I love that feature. To me, backstage is kind of the way webinars should be run, right? So if you haven't checked that out, please do. But yeah, thanks, Robert.
Tamara, go for it.
I have a couple questions, but one of them is about backstage. Is there a limit to the number of people you can have backstage?
The limit would be driven by the limit of panelists in the webinar, but that's very high.
What does that mean?
It's driven generally by the meetings, the largest meetings license that you have. So
okay,
for most of us, that's, if you have any kind of serious account, that's going to be like 500, which I don't know why you'd be running a webinar with 500 panelists, but it can happen, right? There are reasons that it could happen. So,
well, I use it in a weird way because I do a lot of staged readings for theater. And so what I've done is I've put the audience in the backstage, and then when they do the talk back afterwards, I pull them all into the same space.
Yeah, so you're not using it as a main stage, you're using it as an auditorium.
I'm using it as an auditorium, which is, I break everything that Zoom intends. I will use it in a different way, which leads to my second question. So I have a sessions license, which is the Webinar Plus now license. But I use a different event program. So what I really need is not a link that gets me to a second event. It just is a link that I can put onto a button on that other event. Sure. Is there a way to do that with my sessions license, or is there a way to use a webinar license where I know I just get a link and then still have access to Production Studio?
Two things there. So Webinar Plus, if you have that license, have that assigned to that account, that unlocks all of these features for normal webinar. So one thing there would be schedule a webinar. Everything I was kind of showing, like how to do Production Studio in the events side, you can do all of that over in the normal web portal, right?
Great. So if I have my sessions license, I can schedule a regular webinar, use 100%. That link into my my event platform on my button, and then it will just take them into the webinar without going 100%. Through a whole thing, but I'll still have access to my backstage. 100%. That is amazing news. Thank you very much.
Yep. And one, I mean, I think your captive audience is a super interesting use case. I didn't mention this, but this is super relevant for us. One of the things that you also get with Webinar Plus is RTMP ingest, right? And you guys have probably talked about that as well. One of the really rad things about RTMP ingest, for sure we can stream out. You guys that's fantastic. But let's say I have a broadcast mix, or let's say, Tamara, you do a live reading from a stage in Chicago or something. Bring that in as an ingest, right? Ingest those cameras or that mix or whatever you want to do there. It actually shows up as one of these sources, and I can put it in a
that's amazing.
So I can actually shape that. So let's say I was hosting Zoomtopia. This isn't happening. Let's say I was hosting Zoomtopia again this year. Well, it could be me and my live camera feed from wherever, right? And I could be interacting with it or talking about it. So really, really rad. Only one of those at this time. So if you're wanting to do multiple things, but you could think about doing, watch parties. You could just bring in webcams, right? For watch parties is super simple, right? Or RTMP ingest now to bring either a broadcast feed or something in and manipulate those in scenes. And
so I can do that with one camera because I've got a small theater here in LA that has like 2 or 3 cameras. So I can only bring one of those in.
Or bring them into a mix and stream that mix.
I
out,
see.
Right.
I could bring them in. I could bring them
Totally.
in and use my ATEM and do like live switching.
So in your
there.
case, you could do either, right? Yeah, bring them into the ATEM.
Mhm.
If it's one of those ATEMs you can stream from, you could just fire it up, grab the stream, give it the stream key, and pull it in. Done. Somebody
Okay.
still needs to mix it, or figure out how to get those 3 cameras into production studio. They'd have to be separate panelists, right? But you could get to a place where in production studio you could be kind of mixing a show in some cool ways.
Okay, that
Now,
makes.
we don't
that's
have as
cool.
much transitions as an ATEM, and you're going to start to give some stuff up at that point. But I think we could come up with some really creative ways to use this for sure.
Yeah, no, that's very cool. I appreciate you. Thank you.
Can you just define what grabbing an RTMP stream means and how you do that?
Sure. Yeah, so it's a stream key. You always need a stream key. Where is my appropriate window? So real simple to do. I can do this at the hub level or like right here in the session itself. So I can.
Gosh, you're still showing production studio.
It's not showing my full desktop. Full desktop. Can you see the browser? Cool. So I'm back in the session. I can do this in yeah, I can do this a lot of different places, but here I'm just in the session. I can enable that incoming live stream, and then I can leverage either a one-time key or I can preset these up, which probably would be more common. You can set up to 20 of these for even your hub, and then just rinse and repeat the same 20 that you have. So let's say, hey, I'm going to bring to your point, Tamara. Hey, I know Chicago is A. I'm going to give them the stream key for A. And anytime we want to go live from Chicago, we go to A. Great. I just bring them in. This is all I have to do is give them the stream key, which is a certain alphanumeric code, the stream URL, and the backup URL. This is a redundant RTMP stream with automatic failover. And anecdotally, I don't use this a ton because I'm doing everything kind of from here, but anecdotally, quality is really, really nice. We have high-end customers using it. So back to our enterprise who still have a studio somewhere, they use this then. Fire up the studio, bring their people in, and then pipe that to a webinar, and off you go. So, yeah.
Gotcha. And one other question, if you could go back to the production studio, on the preview window, underneath the preview window, you're still showing us your full screen.
It is not keeping up with sharing the desktop today. There you go.
Oh, sorry. Nope. It'll catch up.
What do you mean no?
We were still seeing your full desktop. Now we're seeing your beautiful face. There we go. Notify speaker.
Yep.
What does that do?
Yep. So if I move this kind of out of the way, if I notify the speaker, this may not work because I'm the only speaker in here, but it actually puts a center pop-up right here and says your scene is about to go live.
Oh, that's nice.
Yep. So it's a little just communication device.
That's really nice.
Saying, hey, heads up. Quit picking your nose.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, and great comment there, Mike, that, yeah, pretty simple, honestly, to fire up an ATEM and bring that in now. What's cool is then you can mix it with Production Studio, right? So you could start to combine these. Just what's cool about it is just because you have a camera mix doesn't mean you have to go like super complex. You can still just fire up Production Studio. Again, I can produce a lot of shows. Most of the stuff on my hub, even when I'm bringing in other people, I'm using like 8 scenes. Like it's not hyper complicated. It's a main one up, it's a main graphics one up. It's just a few scenes. So you don't have to overcomplicate things.
John,
Yeah.
you said that Tamara could put the actors into a Zoom meeting and stream that to the webinar. Would that be through RTMP?
Yeah. In the same way you would stream to YouTube, you can stream into Production Studio.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and just for everybody on the Zoom Test Kitchen community, I've made an actual stream file that you need to import into the ATEM because currently Zoom is not among the list of providers that you can stream to from an ATEM by default. So if that is an interest to the Zoom Test Kitchen community, I will put that in our Discord channels.
Will that work with the standalone streamers from Blackmagic as well? Same XML file?
It will be the same based. If you can do the same thing with a streaming bridge, it will be the equivalent file to a streaming bridge file.
we've now crossed over. Remember, John, when you were talking
we crossed over.
how this is how that, you know, production studio is really for, you know, the assistants who don't have a, we've now jumped the shark into full production mode here, which is awesome.
Well, kind of, right? And I do think so. I think that's already started to illustrate where does production studio sit, right? It sits kind of there. And now you can start to, hey, do some really rad, interesting things. So even as simple as bringing in a broadcast studio, or as simple as, hey, we have a live camera sitting somewhere else. By the way, Zoom Rooms also work with all of this, right? So Zoom Rooms open up a whole bunch of functionality for hybrid workspace that then you could bring those cameras in. Zoom Rooms support up to 3 cameras and all of those that a lot of organizations have access to. Bring all those in, mix those in those ways, and really do some interesting shows. So
I will say, if I'd had access to this a year and a half ago, I wouldn't have my 2ME sitting on my desk right now.
Yeah.
That's
revisit
fun,
it. Yeah,
right?
revisit it.
Yeah.
Well, you know, this is all volunteer stuff for me, so that's a sunk cost at this point.
John, go ahead.
One of the things about, and I don't really want to use the phrase, but I'm going to. One of the things that is good about dumbing down this utility, which is now production studio, is that, okay, if you've got big corporate IT departments with lots of bells and whistles and clever stuff, they can still do their thing. But it's simplified the control room management of an event. It means you don't have to have a techie doing it. You can have a real person who's in charge of marketing, who's in charge of controlling the event, knows who wants to be on and what's to be off, and can control it with a simple device that's been, as you say, set up from the start. And they can just deliver the content, and all the clever stuff can be streamed in from other places. It doesn't matter to them. To them, it's just a few boxes. They choose their scenes, and it works, and it's beautiful. And I love it. And I really should stop gushing about this product, but it was so frustrating for it being where it was before that it's just such a big difference when it's now in the cloud. You don't have to worry about giving it to somebody and their computer can't cope with it, or they don't know what to do, and you can't take it over. It is just simplified so many things. Thank you.
Yeah, especially now. Go ahead.
Yeah, and also I want to make the big comment too. John's right about the fact of hardware, but again, also the amount of bandwidth that you also needed to be able to bring down all the same feeds into production studio, because every feed that you needed to mix was brought down to you. So that also takes that away as well. So I just wanted to add that. Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, I think, and I think, John, you brought up Simulive in here, right? And I do think something that all of a sudden this really unlocks is, again, let's think about just a basic interview. We want to run a basic interview or a basic training webinar or something like that. Well, now with just this tool, I can fire that up. I could even teach. Let's say I have a teacher or at an educational organization. I could teach them how to use Production Studio. Put yourself in this nice little scene and push go, right? Now we have a beautiful recording that in the same platform, I could just tag to a Simulive and keep rinsing and repeating and building content and audience engagement around that recording. And I haven't done anything different. I've just made my single presenter, or maybe I show up and just run 2 scenes for her or something like that to get that class captured in a really nice way. And now I never even have to leave the Zoom Events platform, Simulive, publish to a channel, start to snippet it or whatever I want to do to make it cool. We can really produce nice looking content. So one thing I'd love for everyone in here to kind of hear is, don't just think about Production Studio for like the biggest, baddest productions. Like, bang out a nice little interview video, bang out a nice little presentation with it, and just start to make things that look a little bit less like one of you said, sort of a Zoom recording with the tiny window in the tiny corner and the tiny timestamp and all of that. We can leave that all behind now.
Yeah, I also think that this would be good too for the House of Worship market as well, as I have Tony Mobley nodding at me. Go ahead, John.
Well, thank you, Josh, for keeping an eye on the chat and realizing we were trying to segue a bit here. So there is this product called Simulive, which I think people I've been talking about it for the last 6 months, and I've only just started to notice that some of the people I talk to have now had the courage to actually try using it. They've been using, I can't think of a nice way of saying it. They've been using these other pre-recorded webinar tools, which is basically just a web page with a video playing it. They're very poor. I mean, they've gone backwards. We had better solutions than that 20 years ago with some of the people that were on the world before Zoom came along. And now they've gone back to this completely pathetic world. Simulive is bringing us back to a third way of live or recorded, and Simulive in the middle. But what I'd like you to do is to blow our minds again, if you may. I think we can cope with it. To explain what happens when you take Simulive and then you take CMS from basic to advanced, and you start to add all these other real-time tools, but will work in a Simulive environment.
Yeah, so let's just talk conceptually what Simulive allows us to do, which is fire up a new webinar and just target a recording. So I'll move to my innovation conference. Maybe you're running a multi-day, multi-session conference. You still want to do nice recordings, use Production Studio to build nice recordings, but I don't want to replay it live. All kinds of reasons I don't want to do live sessions. Well, great. I can come in here, move this to a webinar, move it to Simulive, target whatever recording I need to target. There's that. We've added a delay start. So if you want it to feel a little less like at 10 o'clock, this recording is kicked off, you can adapt that, which is great. And we've added the ability to transition to live after. So what have I just done? I've changed this session that's scheduled to start in March at 3 o'clock to start the session and launch this video at the same time, which all my attendees will see. And it's a live session, meaning chat, Q&A, resources, polls, breakout rooms. Breakout rooms aren't available during the recording, but I can get there if I transition to live. It's a live session. So I can still now join it, or I can have the speakers join it and answer questions and do all that. If you've ever attended any training on my hub, other than office hours, everything's Simulive, right? Because I don't need to repeat content. I should produce better Simulive content. That's a different thing. But yeah, I can just rinse and repeat, and I could do this for my whole show if I wanted to, and still create a live interactive experience with all of those bells and whistles. So 2 cool things now. We can transition to live. So when that video ends, I now have a live webinar that I can manipulate. I can come off camera. We can deal with live Q&A. I can bring the speaker up. I could run Production Studio in the live webinar and just go right back to the same look. Right now we're in the same look, and Mike and I are having our conversation and continuing to interact with the audience at that point. And breakout rooms, which is super dynamic. So I think a ton of us could find a use case for that. Here's a training. Let's respond to it now in breakout rooms. Here's a big announcement or a big piece of content. Let's do workshops around it. I think a ton of us could come up with ways that would be helpful. Questions about Simulive?
Tony, did you want to jump in?
I apologize for asking this question. I'm having trouble finding Production Studio in the Zoom products. Is there a particular place where I need to be looking for it? And the other question I have is, how will it work with the new Zoom graphics?
Yeah, so you can access Production Studio for scene building in multiple locations. So if you've scheduled a webinar, you can find it in branding. That's the first place. So if I go to zoom.com and if I navigate to here and I've scheduled a webinar, I have a Webinars Plus or higher license assigned. I can schedule this webinar. I have all the premium bells and whistles that I want. And here under branding, I can affect Production Studio. So I can open Production Studio and get to cracking. So whoever asked that earlier, can I just fire up a webinar? Yep. Do it right here. Send out the link. There you go. And I now have Production Studio going. If I'm on the events side of the house, I need to get into the event and into the session. And it's also under branding there. Yep. Second question. Right now, Graphics Toolkit is a third party that really what does Graphics Toolkit do? It joins the meeting, it sucks out those interactions, and it creates graphical representations of them. So emoji fountains, Q&A, chat, or poll results, right? So what it does then is create an HTML widget that then you have to do something with. So as of today, what you would need to do with that is bring that in with a third-party tool and overlay it over me in this case, right? Or maybe you wanted to overlay it over just an interaction panel that you bring into Production Studio. You would need to get creative with how to get it manipulated. We do not have a way today of overlaying Graphics Toolkit on a Production Studio scene natively. Will that come?
That's good. One last thing, and I think I need David's help on this one. So we've been having conversations about Zoom sessions and the business license as far as the house of worship is concerned. And I am a little bit confused. And so I'm reaching out to David Paskin to say, based on the conversations that we've had in the past, should I be looking at, because sessions no longer exist because it's Webinar Plus, is that right?
Yep.
So
let me, okay, I'm going to try and translate the question. And you tell me if I get it wrong, Tony. So Josh, a lot of us grabbed business licenses because we got 1080p and because we got 300 seats and because we got Q&A in meetings and things like that. Which, if any of those, do we get with a Webinar Plus license?
Nothing's changed on any of that front.
So if you get a Sessions Plus license, do you automatically get 1080p for all of your?
Yes. Just like a Zoom Sessions license.
Just like a Zoom Sessions license. You don't, however, get the increased seat count. So you don't get 300 seats with a Webinar Plus license because
no, you still need to add. So to get to Webinars Plus, you need a Pro or higher,
Right, but
license.
Pro has 100 seats.
Yeah.
And, right. So if you just have a Pro account, then you're only going to have the 100 seats, and you don't get Q&A with the Zoom session.
No.
The Zoom events. Okay.
Not for normal meetings. Yeah.
Basically, if you go with Zoom Events Plus, in addition to the liminal apps, in addition to access to all the stuff that Josh is talking about today, you're also in all of your meetings going to get a bump to 1080p. And the business license, you get that bump.
Yeah.
Plus you get 300 seats, plus you get Q&A, but you don't get all the bells and whistles from Webinar Plus.
Yeah, if you're just comparing those two paths, yeah.
Right.
And webinar, right? Right. So that's the other, there's a whole different.
Was that kind of is that where the confusion is?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I was kind of like,
it's a little, there's a lot of stuff that we all want, and it's a little confusing. Yeah.
Totally.
Thank you.
So Tony, I would say that honestly for you, if you're running a church service and you want to have a produced look and you don't want to rely on third-party tools, I mean, this is the way to go now, Zoom Events Plus, I think. Yep. If you're using Mimo or Ecamm or vMix or any of those, then you could use this, certainly, but I think that the business license might be the better purchase.
Yeah.
So you're saying Zoom Webinar Plus? You said events.
Zoom Webinar Plus is the same thing as Sessions. So if you purchased a Sessions license, you are now the proud owner of a Zoom Webinar Plus license. It's
congratulations.
That thing, right? Mazel tov, as they say.
I mean, I think David. The point being is, because he's in the same boat I am as you. I mean, I do a lot of volunteer work, so this is all on my own dime. So if I've already done the investment in Memo Live, went and got stuff like that, and not to mention the hardware that's sitting to my left. I can't quite bring to the pocketbook, get another license hike, right?
Tamara?
So, pardon my stupid person question. I have Zoom Webinar Plus, I have a pro account or a business account. I don't remember which one. I'm trying to schedule a webinar.
Uh-huh.
Do I have to also have a webinar license in order to schedule it as a webinar versus an event?
Nope.
How do I do that?
Unless so, well, let me answer this first. Is your license PPA?
Yes.
Then no, you can't do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So then
PPA does not unlock a standard webinar license.
got it.
We've built that. What's the point of PPA? If you ask David, it's to unlock liminal tools. That's one
Right.
reason.
Which is why I
It's
have
also
it as well.
actually to run these things we call virtual events on our platform.
Right.
So that's the design. So yes, it doesn't go back. And yeah, because it's not a SaaS license, right? It's an attendee credit license at that point.
So, okay.
Yep.
Then let me just talk through this.
Yeah.
If I had a monthly webinar license, would I be able to use Zoom production tools in there? No, I have to go through the events portal and have
you need to do all that. You're going to need a Webinars Plus license.
a Webinars Plus license. Well, I have that,
Not PPA. And a
but not PPA. I need regular. Okay.
Yep.
Got
Yep.
it.
Yep.
But the PPA license if I do it through events, does that give me Zoom Production Studio in a PPA license?
Sure. For those 50 people or whatever, your credit bank is.
Got
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. And that, it makes sense, right? On the web portal side, that is it's a licensed thing. You plug in what you want to plug in versus the events platform. We did open this kind of consumption model for, more common on the PPA front is you probably have an unlimited license of some sort. And then a couple times a year, you need that really big, or that extra something, and you don't need to upgrade to a 10K or a 50K license because you're running 1 or 2 a year. So we wanted to create a path for customers to do both, right? Daily webinar business, quarterly virtual event business, and annual user conference business, right? We wanted to accommodate all three of those kind of levels.
Yeah, I think for mine, because I have different kinds of events and different clients, that me having a full year at like a webinar like that license doesn't make any sense.
Totally.
But then I wouldn't be able to do the situation that I had said to you before.
So one thing you do on the PPA side, now you need to buy more credits, right? Would be the path there. But on the PPA side, you can schedule what's called a light event, which is just a webinar link.
Oh, okay.
So you can go down that path. Yeah.
Got it. Cool.
Yeah. Don't be scared of the events portal. If I've scared anybody off,
I'm scared of the events portal because I don't like it. I'm so sorry. I apologize. I love everything else about Zoom, but the events portal.
Yeah.
But but you're saying if I schedule through the events portal and I schedule it light, I will just have that link to the webinar and I will not have all the
lobby.
Other amazing things that work for other people, but not me because I'm in love with my event platform.
So if I create an event just like this, if I hit light, it strips and you can see some charts here, but like no lobby. It's just a join link. So if I hit save and continue and hit publish, we're going to hit just a webinar link.
Got it. And then inside of that, I still have my production tools. Yes? No?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. So all that now I'm in here in the vaunted events portal. But so I can go in here. I can manage my production studio. By the way, we have templates there. Ray, shout out. We have templates, so you can start to create all your scene templates and rework them. I can pick one. So let's do my 4 up with content. How do I hit that? I guess I don't remember how. Oh, because I'm managing templates. I don't want to manage templates. Anyway, start with a template. That's what I want. This one.
Got it.
Start with a template, and now I'm manipulating. Yep.
Great.
For that webinar. And then what do I actually have here? I just have a fancy webinar link that says bypass authentication.
Great. Amazing. And then I can always add attendees through my per attendee portal because I have just certain 1 or 2 events a year that require that. And then everything else I'm.
So you see there, I pasted that link and it's trying to launch a webinar.
Okay.
Yep.
Amazing. Thank you.
No lobby. All right.
We now have, thank you, Mike, for reminding me. We've now, the name of our Discord channel for Zoom sessions is now updated to Zoom Webinars Plus. And I also added a Zoom Events channel. So we've got meeting, webinar, Webinars Plus, and events. It should be webinar plus. Is it webinar?
Yes, and we definitely welcome Josh,
Is it singular?
part of the Discord community, to be answering questions in there too. Absolutely.
Wait, oh, it's Zoom webinars and webinars plus.
Plural.
Yeah, plural.
Meetings, webinars, webinars plus, and events.
Oh, okay. So wait, I gotta change this one too. This is Zoom meetings.
It's all plural.
Yeah. Okay. What have we not talked about?
CMS.
CMS? What?
Yeah,
what-
we can definitely talk about that. So we're providing different ways to publish this content, right? On a content hub, my hub would be the best example. Get that link. Feel free to distribute that here. Where you can build different channels of content. You can gate them. You can make them private. You can make them public. You can do a lot of different things to distribute. I'm not going to go into a full demo on this. A lot is going to get announced at Zoomtopia because we're pivoting that from purely kind of from our side an events and marketing use case to a much broader vision of what video management's going to be moving forward. So I'll just keep teasing Zoomtopia, but that'll be a major component of one of the things we're sharing there. So happy to come back and talk about that too, down the road. But all that to say, we do have a video management solution. So for a lot of us, we're doing all of this good work at Zoom, and then we're downloading it and we're taking it somewhere else. Obviously, we're never going to replace a YouTube, probably, but a lot of people have an internal Vimeo or I'll list a whole bunch of competitors here where they just need lots of places to put lots of content and organize it into different channels and places for people to find stuff. We want to address that use case, and even in a pretty way. We do some pretty stuff there. So I don't know if we need to do a full demo in here, John, but I think maybe readdressing that this fall might be a good idea.
John, go for it.
I think that's a good summary of it, Josh. And as we know, it's going to be explained in great detail at Zoomtopia. So I think it's all right for people. Have a look at it there. So I just got one security question about this. In the basic CMS, we're limited to 300 plays a month. My concern with all these things is what happens if I go over the limit? So does it just stop working for that month if I go over the limit? Okay. So guys, go out there, play with CMS. And if it doesn't, and if you hit your 300, it just stops. And that's all you've got to worry about.
Yeah. And I'll just share just to point out what that is. If you're in the events portal, it's this video management section here where now I have a home page where I can upload video content, create playlists, create channels, and then eventually get to landing pages that look something like this hub where I can really share out upcoming events, channels of content I've uploaded and sorted and used AI to generate descriptions of and all kinds of stuff here for the taking and really create my curated audience list of content here. So, basics included with every license right now. 300 users, a couple of channels, just enough to kind of wet your whistle. And then moving forward into the higher tiers of viewership, you can definitely take that step. And then at that point, John, you can have overages and things like that. So, you kind of never gets broken at that point. So.
It's almost like a hub.
Yeah. So we call this content hub, what I just shared. Yeah,
wait,
for sure.
Serious? You call that content hub?
Yep.
All right, Josh, can we talk about this, please?
Yeah. Let's talk about content hub. Love it.
No, I just want to talk about words.
Oh, hub versus hub versus hub versus hub.
Yeah.
John and I haven't released the book yet, David, but go ahead, continue.
It makes it really hard. Like I get it, but it really does. It's very confusing.
No, David, this one they've got right. I have to defend them for a change on words because usually I criticize them. But I do like the idea that a hub is a place where information is stored. You have your personal hub where you keep your personal recordings, and then you have your hub for your events, which has all your event recordings. And that now does make sense to my simple brain. And the Zoomology book will be available in bookstores shortly, I promise you. But of course, Josh did mention a certain 2 letters, which I have been having so much fun with this week. And that is, there is buried in events a little button, which when you press it, it will use the AI to create summaries of your event content. And it's not just one version. There's a whole list of different ways you can take the data. And I have been having great fun. And especially that I don't need any other AI tool to do it anymore, because it's all built into Zoom. Take it away, Josh.
Showing off a few bits and pieces here, bells and whistles. So yes, we do have something called a content hub, David. So one-stop shop, single link where I can drive an audience for upcoming events. I can showcase past events, and then video channels. So these are what they look like when they're displayed on a hub. They're related, but not necessarily. I could have channels that don't exist on a hub and vice versa. So here's all kinds of channels here. Then when I jump into a channel, it's a branded landing page full of video content. So a couple of different pieces here. One, obviously, description. I can brand it. I can brand the colors. You notice the color change there. Feature videos. I can bring playlists in. So I can have playlists that exist on different channels. So in this case, I have a feature short. So anytime I make a new 30-second short, I can just drop it in the playlist, and wherever I have that published, it updates there. And then video content. And we now have resources. So at the channel level, if I need to share user guides or, PDFs, this one says sessions. I should replace that. So I will. And then I'll jump on this an actual video player page here, introducing AI content generation. So you all can check this video out. So already I'm bringing my users into a really nice experience. It's branded. There's all the videos on the channel here, along with description and comments, Q&A. I can have resources here too that I showcase. So lots of different ways. And then all the normal Zoom stuff. So I can fire up the transcript. I can even translate the transcript, translate the captions here, and be multilingual with any video content I bring into this environment, which is pretty powerful.
Robert, you were saying a while back, you were talking about the video page, how nice, I think you were saying how nice the Zoom video page is. This was like months ago. I remember you saying that.
What we were talking about storage and storage fees. And I said that you can't look at storage on the Zoom platform as just space that you keep files, because the player here has the ability, even if you have simultaneous interpretation, to choose the language you want to listen to the simultaneous interpretation of the recording. It's brilliant. It's super cool. And of course, the transcript is in sync with the video playing. So you can actually move it across and you'll see the transcript moving. So it's brilliant. It's really, really good.
It's such a nice interface. And, you mentioned YouTube before, Josh. What's especially nice about this interface is that there are no ads to be found anywhere here. So, and that's why you have to pay for, Zoom to host your videos, whereas you don't with YouTube. So,
for sure.
Yeah.
I'd like to take the advantage of just being here and just to shout out that if we could embed that player, that would be just brilliant. Because in a lot of intranets on corporate networks, they say, can we embed the player? Can we put it where we want it? But we can't. I know there's much more happening on that page, so it's not what you want, but that is a request that I get.
So we support with CMS embedding entire channels or single videos on external websites.
I didn't know that. Thank you.
So I can come in here, I can target this, I can add a video.
Josh, can you back up and show us how you got there? I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, sorry. So I'm in video channels. These are all my channels on my hub in this case. I can create. So I can either just create sort of a standalone one like I've been showing, or I can embed videos on my website or a video. So either way. So I can create an entire channel that's embedded. Think of how powerful that is. Right, here's all of our shows, and it just gets updated as I add video content to those channels, including registration and or authentication. Actually includes on the embed process. So now I get to go here and I get to go through the sort of embed process. Here's a video, save it. And now I have all my script information. Where do I want to publish? If I want to protect it, I can protect it. And then I have my little player. Wow. I don't know if it is everything, Robert. We'd have to play with it. But oh yeah, I mean right there. Yeah. It has your language, all the language stuff.
Wow, look at that.
I didn't know it exists, so now there's something to play with. Thank you.
Yeah, that's amazing. Is there a connection between this type of stuff, Josh, and on Zoom, which has been in beta for the past 5 years? Because people are still using on Zoom, and I actually think it was a brilliant idea. I think it's a great idea, but what's that about? Do you know?
Yeah. Long live on Zoom, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if we're working on that product anymore.
Okay.
We're building this stuff, David. This is what we're building.
Okay.
I'm pretty impressed that you've brought Production Studio into the cloud, because that was a massive project that you talked about the beginning of summer. I mean, that's what, 3 months gone by?
We've been working on it longer. We were talking about it at Zoomtopia last year. So yeah. And it's we're glad it's done. We think it opens us up to more confidently position the product. That's what I've done here. I also think it's now done. So now we can start to kind of get to some of the next stuff we want to do, which is really good. It's not the, moving architecture isn't maybe it's not the sexiest work, right? But it needs to be done, and we've done it. And now we have a better tool because of it. So yeah.
Ray is asking, if a person triggers a CMS visit by viewing a video, if they visit another video on the same channel or hub, do they trigger another visit?
It's cookie based.
I understand. Or did the first visit give them 30 days to view vids?
30 days, and it's cookie based.
30 days and it's cookie based.
Yep. So same user goes to a different browser or a different world. If they're not logged in, that's another view. Yep.
Gotcha.
And we offer all tiers of viewership, including all the way up to the highest tiers of unlimited.
So sorry. So as the owner of the account, the events account, I pay for just a flat fees for storage plus viewer at a certain amount.
Situation. Yes.
Gotcha.
Yep. And we're continuing to address and clarify as this product matures how it relates to storage. I would see probably some consolidation down the road of how those licensing, how those costs work.
Gotcha. Hasmukh,
not today.
How are you?
I'm okay. Quite ironic. I had a fairly large client in my office today. I'm trying to convince them that Teams is a meeting environment and Zoom is a broadcast environment. And now I'm beginning to realize that I'll have to enroll for an MBA at Zoom University, because I thought I knew everything. I know nothing.
Hasmukh, you know enough now to know that there's a lot more you need to learn.
What did I say last week? The more you know, the less you know.
Yeah. That's why we're here every week, Hasmukh, because every week.
We live here every week too, Hasmukh.
No. You're going to have to be here every day for a while, so we can catch up.
That's true.
But I'm going to give Josh a bit of a plug here too, that Josh, how often are you meeting to talk about the events stuff now?
Office hours?
Your office hours.
Twice a month right now. We went from weekly down to bi-weekly. So if demand increases, I would be open to going back weekly, but yeah.
I don't want to abuse your time. I'm so grateful that you came by. Anyone have any last questions about Zoom events? Zoom Webinars Plus. I'm sorry. Zoom events. It is going to take a while to move away from Zoom sessions in my head. It's just, don't take it personally. Robert, go ahead.
Yeah, this is sort of, I'm assuming this happens that if you live stream from Webinar Plus and from Production Studio, the attendees that come in when the capacity of the webinar is full will still get a link to Overflow and go to YouTube. Is that correct?
Yep, all that stays in place. Yep.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
If you configure it that way, that's an option. Yeah.
We've talked about that that's been a topic a few times here,
Yep.
right? How you get that to trigger so that people know where to go.
Yeah. Robert, you brought this up last week, actually, and you were having issues.
Yeah, there's only one way to do it the right way.
As it turns out.
Yeah.
You have to do it the right way.
Well, thank you all for having me. I appreciate it. Yeah, and I won't be a stranger, as much of a stranger next time. So,
Josh,
Tamara, would love to keep hearing from you about your use case too. That's super interesting, and love to keep supporting you. So.
Yeah.
I do crazy things with Zoom.
I love it.
Did you want to jump in, Tamara? You have your hand up. Did you or
Oh,
no? Or
no,
you
I did not.
You were just pressing all the buttons.
I was trying to press the clapping button, but I accidentally pressed the hand raise button. They need to be moved away from each other on my Stream Deck is really what happens. And when we get Stream Deck for webinar, I will be so happy.
Yeah.
As will all of our office hours on Sunday crew.
Hey, Josh, are you working on Zoomtopia at all?
I do have a few roles. Yeah, not quite as big a role as I had last year, but yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I'll be
Well,
involved. So I have a couple sessions I'm hosting. We have an event session, so I'll be a part of that. Yeah.
Okay. Good luck with it. Enjoy.
Yeah. Thank you guys.
And,
We'll see you.
we'll see you on the other side.
All right. Have a good weekend.
See you later, Josh. John has Stream Deck working on webinar. Don't know where the problem is. John, what have you done?
So I did just put in. You can make it work. You just have to put in the key codes. You got to put in.
Is it just using hotkeys?
Just using hotkeys.
Yeah. Is that no? John wrote an app.
Of course, John wrote an app, but not all of us can write an app, John. I found the key to turn my microphone on and off, and that was the biggest thing I needed.
By the
I
way,
don't have John's super capabilities.
John's a Superman.
Thank you very much.
We could probably just go.
I'm actually working on a course so you can write your own apps. I'm trying to get all the complicated stuff done so you can just do the simple bits and choose what you want.
You use ChatGPT or use Lovable or use Bolt. Come on. I've got 5 working apps. 5 apps.
David, I got some bad news for you.
Are any of them Zoom apps, David?
None of them. Not a one.
ChatGPT cannot write apps for Zoom. There is so much out of date information out there, it gets it wrong. But, however, once you've got an app running, you can use ChatGPT to add things. So if I gave you a basic emoji-based Stream Deck app, you could then put it into ChatGPT and say, oh, now I want to do the hearts. And it would be able to then update it and make it work.
Yeah.
David,
I just
all
want
about the
to say,
templates. Go ahead, Robert.
David, I just wanted to say thank you for bringing Josh on because it's, I attend Josh's office hours, but it's different there because there are a lot of people. And when we're here together, we sort of know which level we're at and we can ask the questions in the way we want them answered. It is so good. So thank you very much.
Oh, no, of course. Absolutely. It's lovely having him come on. All right. So, oh, goodness. Tiles for Zoom quit unexpectedly. Okay. Sorry.
That's your wife telling you it's time to leave and go home, David.
Is that what it is? No. So this is actually, I replaced I was running tiles on an M1 Mac Mini. I just replaced it with an M4, but it's still, and I was getting quite a few crashes in tiles on the M1. Not that I think the computer has anything to do with it, but well, we'll try and join again and see if this works. What else do people have?
To Josh, nothing.
Oh, wait, there I am. I got oh goodness, I saved it somewhere. I got a pop-up the other day. Let's see if I can find it. I actually saved the a Zoom pop-up, which I had not seen before. Of course I can't find it now. No. Sorry. I thought I'd seen something in Zoom that I hadn't seen before, but I guess I didn't.
Is it related to Zoom Hub?
No. It wasn't related to Zoom Hub.
Okay, because I every time I go into my workplace app, all of a sudden it says introducing Zoom Hub.
Still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to be confused with Josh's hub and Josh's other hub.
I didn't mean to give him a hard time. It just. And by the way, John, for what it's worth, I agree with you. I think that where that use of hub is the right use of hub.
I don't know what's happened. I hope it keeps happening, but it is quite obvious to me that somebody has actually decided that all these naming words is a problem. And when they changed sessions to Webinar Plus, they didn't just do that. They got a whole list of other naming and marketing and positioning problems, and they moved them all out, and they've sorted them all out in one go. Because even the way the website works and the way it goes to one thing and the other, it all starts to make a lot more sense than it used to. And the fact that you can stay and meet in Zoom.us and do meetings and simple webinars, single session webinars, and you can do webinars plus, but as long as you keep it simple, you can stay there. And then when you want to do the more complicated things, that's when you have to hop in to the events hub, and then you can do the next level thing.
And John, and that's new, right? Up until recently, you couldn't.
Yeah, they've made a lot of really big changes in the way it all links and jumps between it. I thought I found a bug. Actually, it was a feature of the system, because it's a bug that works. I had a problem that I was in. Mike and I had a session on one of my shows, and we were comparing webinars and webinars plus. And I got to one point where I came under it was mistaken view that on my webinars plus, I couldn't get the email to say, I'm sorry you didn't attend, follow-up email. Whereas on my webinars, it was there. And what I found was when I went onto the events platform, I disabled it. But because I disabled it, it just disappeared off the Zoom side. So rather than making things complicated, I had disabled it, so it just didn't bother showing that line. So I couldn't edit that email because I'd said disable it. And I thought it was a bug. I thought it was wrong. Turns out it's a very clever little bit of making the two halves work better together. And I'm really pleased with that.
It's great. Robert and Hasmuk.
Yeah, if we can just change topic to a topic that you are the most experienced person on the show, David. That is Zoom graphics.
Okay,
you've been through the beta.
No, this is all Hasmuk's fault.
Sorry,
Hasmuk reached out to me. He's like, I'm going to need you to give me a primer. I've used it once, and even then I screwed it up.
Before you go there, can I ask a quick question before we dive into Zoom graphics?
Diving in. Go ahead.
In my medical event, I only use meetings, and everybody is in the meeting. I have not considered or used webinar at all. So my understanding is a webinar is where the presenters are on stage and everybody else is attending, but they're not participating in the actual event itself. Would I ever have to consider a webinar or webinar plus? And
Please
what
do.
would it do for me?
Please, 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 please do. I used to run a Zoom meeting for all my speakers, and then using an ATEM, I linked it up to my audience in another Zoom meeting. So we could have a sort of green room, except that we actually streamed all the content from the one meeting to the other one. So we had like I suppose we had a studio, didn't we? Trying to think of a non-technical version. So we had a studio where all the panelists were sitting, and that was streamed to another Zoom where all the audience was sitting. When Zoom came along and invented Backstage, I moved to Zoom webinars so that I now have my live speakers are on the stage as panelists. My support staff who are answering Q&A and the speakers who are not speaking at that time and maybe speaking later, they're in the backstage world. So they can see what's going on. They can come and go without anyone noticing. They can all chat. Panelists are on the stage, and then my audience is in a webinar audience. And if you think that that means that my doctors, because I'm doing medical meetings as well, my doctors now have no part to play, then that's not true. They are just as engaged as they were before. The only exception is they don't have their cameras on, but they are putting chat in the chat. They are answering questions in the Q&A. We have even had times where, and I've done this on my shows, where people have put up their hands in the audience and I've enabled their mic so they can actually verbalize their question to the panelists and have a conversation with the panelists without even leaving that area. Notwithstanding, I've never needed to do it, notwithstanding that if I really had somebody in the audience who wanted to physically stand up, so to speak, or virtually stand up, I could promote them to a panelist. They could ask their question and then go away again. So I think it's a big jump up, lots and lots of advantages if they take the webinar world. And for the panelists, they still feel like they're in a Zoom meeting because they're still using the same program. They still turn on and off their cameras before. They've just got this other breakout room they can go to in their mind, which is called backstage. And they know we're in them backstage. They can gossip between themselves and nobody in the audience knows what's going on. It's a really good example of webinars plus taking over the world.
So the biggest impact I've had with what I do from the presenters, that means the consultants from the university that engage all the doctors, is to say, I can see everybody that I'm talking to. I can engage. So I find this rather immersive. I'm kind of assuming that with a webinar, that's not going to be the experience.
It isn't, but you can always be cheeky and leave the host and other members of the panel on the screen, because if you leave them, the panelists, on, rather than letting them all go to backstage, let them stay on the stage with the speaker. The speaker will get the feedback from those panelists. And what's really cheeky is that they will be able to see those panelists because they think they're in a Zoom meeting still. But the audience can just see the speaker because you spotlight the speaker for the audience. You can play around with the setup. And I had the same issue, but once everybody got used to it, I found that all the non-speakers disappeared back to backstage and the speaker carried on main stage without any problems. But I always keep at least one or two people on stage with them so that so as you say, they've got people on the stage. They don't feel that they've been shoved on the stage and left behind. But I think it works well.
Gotcha.
Sorry, Robert.
If I can just share my experience, webinars work really well for town halls in big organizations where the C-suite seem to want to be separated from the people, especially when there's very sensitive information or emotional information that is being given. However, what is really cool, and this John mentioned this, we actually get someone that the presenters know to be on stage and just looking, smiling and nodding their heads just to keep that feeling that someone can hear you, everything's going okay, you're doing a good job. Webinars Plus also has something that webinars don't have. You can open breakout rooms where the people go into breakout rooms, they can switch their cameras on, they can speak with each other, they can see each other. And when they come back to the webinar, their cameras are off again because they're attendees, which is also super cool to use in certain situations. But it's situational specific. I don't think I would consider replacing what you're doing with a webinar. No.
I
Not
know
yet.
that I
Not
use
yet.
I use it.
Huh.
I use webinars because my twice a month I have about, I'll be quite blunt, about 400 teenagers, and they don't always remember to turn off their mics when they're not talking, and it's just easier to keep the audience separated where they don't interfere with the speakers. And I don't have to hunt. Now, granted, I shouldn't have to hunt because it always floats to the top when somebody turns on their mic, but I've actually had about a third of my kids turn on their mics. And then it takes a while to shut everyone down.
Yeah, but Pete, you do know there's an option under the host options to disable the ability for them to switch on, to unmute.
Well, but that's the way I use webinars is they're already over there and their mics are off. Yes, I do that. I'm talking about when I was doing it with meetings, that turned to be, early on, that turned to be a fiasco.
I'm referring to the meeting scenario.
But that wasn't true a year and a half ago. That changed.
I don't remember when it changed. Okay, fair enough. David, can we go back to Zoom graphics if we finish with the webinars, Hasma?
Well, thank you for talking about something else so that I could get it up and try and get it working, because of course it's not. So, all right. So this is, I've got, let me go back here. All right. So this is Zoom graphics here, and this is the emoji one. And so that's working. Now, if I copy this URL and I bring it over here into where is it? Emojis, there it is. And I edit the widget. So what I'm doing is I'm grabbing it from graphics, grabbing the URL from graphics, and I'm bringing it over into Ecamm. And then I hit save. So you're not seeing anything. Here's the problem. The problem is if I go like, oh wait, no, I turned it off. So why are you not seeing anything? This is the piece I'm not understanding.
John, did we officially say Andy's name 3 times yet today? We were close.
I'm pretty sure, I am 100% positive that this is user error, but so I've got this widget here.
Did you upgrade to the new beta?
Yes, I am on the new beta.
We just need a recording of Andy just saying, David, you've got it wrong.
David. God, David. All right, here's what we're going to do. Let's do this one. Emojis. Edit. Okay. So I'm going to grab this URL again. I'm going to put it over here in Ecamm. All right. Emojis. That keep running, fill entire frame. Boom. So now I'm not sure why I'm not seeing it.
David, it did show when you showed that other screen, it did say that it was unreachable, which means that it wasn't finding it on the network.
Would you like to just run it in a browser and see if it works in a browser? You don't need to put it into Ecamm Live or anything. Just paste that into a browser, David, and make sure it runs, because I think that's the problem. One computer can't see the other.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So no, it's running. It's not that they can't see it. Here, let me turn this off. Stop. Okay. So if I just click this open in a browser window and you guys start clicking on stuff.
Right. Yeah. But David, that is on that local machine. We're talking about the other machine that you want to bring it to.
No, I understand.
You don't copy that preview link. There's a different link you have to copy, I think, to make it go live.
You think so?
Yeah.
All right. Let's find that link then. Oh, that's the preview. You're right. Okay. So, that's the preview. So where is see again, here it is. See, can I say, sorry. I think I said this to him when he was here last time too. This
I like the way you don't mention the name just in case he appears.
Yeah, so this does not look, it's not obvious at all to me that clicking on Graphics Manager is a thing.
Well, I only remembered it because I went through the same disastrous loop of hell that you just went through, and then realized it was on the front thing. So don't worry.
So here's emojis. Oh no, so I don't want that. I want the actual. So emojis. So give me.
Yeah, that column. It
Live
says Live
graphics.
Graphics URI. That's the one.
Copy that. And now over here, I'm going to come back and I'm going to put it in here. So now I'm over here, and sorry for the noise behind me. And let's put that. Now see, it's the same one. It's the same URL. It's the same exact URL.
David, you were showing this screen that actually had the black line at the top.
The black line.
Yeah, it had that had text in it. It's important to read the text that you were showing us before.
I have no idea what I was showing you before.
Okay, because there was it was related to 192.168 address, and it said unreachable or unconnectable. It was some sort of error message. I don't think it was on that machine because you were full screen when you were showing it. It might have been an eCam.
Okay. Emojis. Boom, ba-dum, ba-dum. So
If you do copy that and put that into just a regular Safari browser,
yeah,
will it work?
let's try. Safari can't connect to the server. So there's something wrong with.
Yeah, correct. That was what we were. That's what John and I were mentioning, is that that IP address and such URL that you're trying to go to locally on your network, it's not getting to that.
Right. So how does one change that? I don't know how one changes that. Does anybody else know?
Is that the IP address of that machine, David? That's in that URL?
I don't know. How do I find out the IP address of this machine?
Of the graphic machine that you're using? You'd have to check in your network settings on your Mac. And I defer to my Mac friends out there to help David for that.
Yeah.
When you launch this app, just like Companion, it gives you an option of whether to run local or insert the IP of the machine.
Right.
Have you done that?
I don't think this made me do. Oh, you know where I can look though? Hold on. Here, let's look here. Here we go. Web interface. Local host.
So look at the URL you're trying to paste in.
Yeah.
It says, it's a little blurry right now on the screen, but it says, it starts off 127.
Yeah, 127.0.0.1.
Oh,
That's home. That's home.
You're on local. Yeah, you're doing local host.
That's what I'm trying to say, because when you launch Companion, you can run it as local host or the IP of that machine.
So you need to put in, there's a setting somewhere. I haven't played with graphics, but there's a setting somewhere to say, what is the IP address of the machine you want to run that graphic on?
It's actually when you launch the graphics program, just like the interface, web server interface on Companion, you get the same web interface for the server, and you choose either localhost or the IP address of that machine.
Yeah.
Right. So what's interesting is that this is actually not giving me that option.
No, there's got to be a preferences somewhere to let you set the.
Well, no. So let me turn this off now because it's all.
David, you may have to shut down graphics and restart it again because it might be only at the beginning.
No. I see it right here. So
David, it's when I've got it on my screen at the moment. When you just below where that web interface is, there's a network interface. If you click on that, it's a drop down. It'll allow you to select.
I've got it. Right. I've got it here. I've got all interfaces, local host EN9 and EN0.
So
I tried EN9 and that didn't work.
David, for now, I would just do all.
All? Okay. Let's just give me 0.0.0.0.
No, yeah.
Well, yeah. The one that you want to actually come up is one that starts with 192 on your
Right.
network.
192.168.
Right. So
Whatever.
But I've got two of those here. And let's try this to see if this one works.
is one does that have Wi-Fi as well as wired? That machine?
Yeah.
Okay, I would make sure you choose your Ethernet one.
Yeah, but I don't.
In the Unix world, I believe the 0 comes before the 9.
All right,
Peter,
here we go.
on that one.
7336 is my Wi-Fi. Sorry, is my what do you call
Wired.
it? 7336. This one. Now,
okay.
port number. Anyone know what port number I want?
You leave that. You can leave that as
Don't
is.
change that, David. That's fine as it is.
Okay.
It was just the IP address because it wasn't leaving. It wasn't allowed to leave the machine.
All right. So now let me copy this, and let's put it over here. In
Yeah, on the Windows version, it actually says Ethernet, so I know it's the network connection of the physical.
okay. So now, failed to load.
Okay, I see SSL protocol error that time.
So I actually think I know what the problem is. I think.
Yeah, make sure that you're using HTTP at the beginning of the URL.
Right. So that's the problem because eCam forces HTTPS.
Right.
So that's why it's not working. But if I were to just open
A browser.
Yeah.
Yeah, without the S, that should work in your browser now. In your Safari.
I mean, it's kind of working. It's oh wait, I have to get this off. Sorry. It's not fully, but it may be that. Yeah, there it is. So that's an eCam problem.
Yeah.
Well, with all due respect, it's a graphics toolkit problem because they're not supplying the links with SSL, and they really should do.
Yeah.
I'm just doing it on a Windows machine here too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there should be some sort of it might come up as an error message that the SSL might not be legit, but yeah, they should at least embed some sort of SSL.
It's been a long time since the world has forced HTTPS on the outside world, right? When did Chrome force that?
Well, yeah, correct. So again, because eCam is getting a lot of the browsers are doing that by default in the background.
Right. But this also speaks to, and it's a different conversation, David, but I do port reservation for all my systems in my office so that I always know what the IP addresses are of each machine, and they get set up by MAC addresses and
Yeah. So basically, I'll go over that quickly for Pete's sake. So basically, what he's done in his DHCP server on his router, he's basically, or whatever unit in his network is configured to allow IPs to be sent out to your machines. He's basically said, yes, this machine will always have X IP address on the network at all times, so that I know that anytime I go into my BitFocus companion, as an example, I do not have to change the IP address in my companion all the time because that machine got a new IP address for free because it decided to reboot and the router sent it a brand new IP for free. So yes, it definitely causes a lot less of a madness, especially when you have, in our case, BitFocus companion to be specific, that a certain machine that we're calling on the network that BitFocus companion has the IP address of If it changes, it ain't talking to it.
Mhm.
And it's using the MAC address of the device, right?
Right. Yes. And you can do that for, Hosmouth, you can do it for your 2ME switcher because it's going to respond to MAC address so-and-so, and your router is going to say, I've pre-assigned MAC address so-and-so 192.168.8.1, or in my case, 8.50 for my ATEM. And that's what it gets. So you can leave everything else to DHCP, and just set it one place on the router. Right.
Yeah. I go a little further than that, and Peter basically, but again, yes. So I basically, all my hardware that's always connected to the network, I always make sure they always have the same IPs, so that it, should I be in a situation where I need to remote in that machine from one machine to another, that it's always got that IP. But yes.
Yeah.
But yes, definitely MAC address would be the best way to do it. If you're using phones, make sure not to use the randomized MAC functionality. And use the fixed MAC functionality if you do want to have the phone to have the same IP address all the time too.
And that applies to your iPad as well.
Correct. Yeah. Any Android Mac based unit that has the randomized MAC functionality to when they're at home on your home Wi-Fi network, as an example, or your business Wi-Fi network, I would definitely set that to fixed. Where the randomized MAC is good is if you're in like a coffee shop or such airport and you're using a public Wi-Fi, that's better to use the randomized MAC because then it gives you a little more security. And notice I'm using quotation marks, little more security.
Yes.
Very little.
Once you do have it running, though, the advantage of setting it up the way they have is you can run the admin as well as the live URLs on a different machine, because it's just referring to the IP address of the graphics toolkit server. So I've got it. I've just switched to my Windows machine. I've got the graphics toolkit running on one machine, and I've got the toolkit admin running on a completely different one.
Very, very cool. And just to let
I
everybody know,
suppose I could have the output I could probably have on another machine if I really want to get silly.
Right. And I know Robert's connected too. Robert, so are you going from a PC or from a Mac?
From a Mac, but I'm struggling. I got knocked out, so I'm trying again.
Did I not let you in?
No, you let me in.
Okay.
But Zoom graphics was telling me that even though it connected, it was telling me that it's not connected, as if the graphics app couldn't see the SDK. I don't know what the Zoom app.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Play away, Robert. Absolutely. Give us a report back. John, you're good though, right? You got in? You got it working?
Yes, but mine won't work because I have logged into Zoom Test Kitchen under one login and my graphics toolkit is logged in under another one. And I think that will confuse it.
I'm not seeing you in as twice.
Exactly.
So how did you log in twice?
I haven't. Graphics
you haven't?
Graphics toolkit hasn't tried to do anything. And I think it's because I'm logged in as a different person to the license.
Okay. Yeah. So if you want to log in with one of your other test accounts, by all means. And just to let everybody know on YouTube that David says, have a good Labor Day weekend. And that's labor without the U. And I'll say to my Canadian people watching, with the U, have a good Labor Day weekend coming up this weekend as well.
And I'll say anyone who is in Labour, I hope that they have a successful delivery.
Let's see, we need the emojis up right now because the room is now officially flooded with emojis. I'm just letting everybody know on YouTube. So, there you go.
That's the best line I can give. I'm going to shut up now for the rest of the production.
Yeah. Minute or two anyways, YouTube. It's only going to be a minute or two. We promise. Oh, here comes Zoom Graphics Robert. All right. So we're doing good. All right. On that note, we are definitely, if you have any Zoom related questions while Robert is playing and John is playing with the graphics toolkit, let us know in chat as it is question and answer time. And we've got panelists here. Hasmuk is here. He can give you answers on how he's doing, what he's doing as well. So definitely let us know in YouTube chat.
So I've been
Peter.
very keen to use the
yes.
sorry,
Yeah, go ahead, Hasmuk. Sorry.
to use the Zoom graphics toolkit for polls.
For polls.
Yeah, I heard something that says that the graphics toolkit can be used for polls for the polls result,
Correct.
not the actual poll that you've launched.
Correct.
That's correct.
So it's only after the end of the poll, you can then bring the results graphic that
That's
Zoom
right.
normally creates into your graphics toolkit.
Correct. The versions that I've seen right now, Hasmuk, are bar graph, pie graph.
Yeah, gotcha.
Those are the two that I've seen for sure. I don't know if there's any other variations, and I'll defer that to Robert and John when they get connected. But yeah, those for sure.
I also asked somebody a question on Zoom toolkit, and I thought one could overlay it with a transparent background.
Yes.
When you bring in the HTML.
Yes.
And I was told there's one of our fellow Zoom Test Kitchen members, I think it's Andy, not the big Andy, but small Andy, if I may
Small Andy with an A. All right.
May I abuse him? Yeah.
Yeah.
So he said the graphic when you paste the URL, it gives you a solid white background. But I saw somewhere that you can actually create a transparent background. And that was when Andy and his colleague was showing us the toolkit in April here in Zoom Test Kitchen. They went through it. So I actually went back to the recording of Zoom Test Kitchen.
Okay.
And I saw that they had all transparent backgrounds. So if it's transparent, then obviously you can overlay it with a upstream key or a alpha key. Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. So Luma key or chroma key. Correct.
Yeah.
You could yes. Yeah. So right now, Hasmuk, in your working environment of the 810 world, this would not be any different than bringing in H2R graphics. Okay.
Exactly.
So that would be the equivalent to the way you're bringing in H2R graphics now.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is the way you would do that with this kit as well.
Understood.
Okay?
Yeah.
And in that working environment, yes. It's not at the level right now where you can actually bring the HTML into as a camera layer on Zoom. That would be the next one. That would be ultimate. But currently right now, the way that the graphics toolkit was made to be put into a vMix or an OBS on the software side and Ecamm and Mimo Live as an input, but it would be a transparent layer. It would be like an overlay, right? So it becomes an overlay channel. In the 810 world, again, that would be the equivalent of having that input overlay over top of another main input.
Yeah. Right. So I would run that on a separate computer that's a camera into the ATEM.
Correct.
Bring that graphic up on the browser on that host machine where I'm using the Zoom toolkit.
Yeah, whatever the output video is going to be.
And then overlay that as as a upstream or a chroma key.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So again, the same. So it'd be equivalent to how you have your H2R graphic machine, how you have the output going to that HDMI or SDI, how you have that going out to that. Same thing here. So you'd need an additional machine But again, in this case, if you're running already a Windows machine for H2R graphics, you could potentially, as long as you have multiple outputs, you could actually potentially run both on the same machine
Yeah, yeah.
because they're
Got
not
you.
as
Yes,
they're not as
sure,
server heavy, right? Because they're
Yeah.
just making HTML pages,
sure,
right?
sure.
But again, you would have to then route one to one HDMI port, or another one to another HDMI port, and bring those two in as individual inputs. Now, in theory, depending on, and I'll go to Peter on this one, if you have the 2ME, could you actually bring in two overlays?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
there you go.
You can have
Right?
up
So
to-
you could
you can have actually technically you can have 6 going because you could have both downstream keys on and all 4 upstream keys on.
So there you go, Hasmouth. So you could intend, so you could, by
Yeah.
turning the tick boxes on and off in the graphics toolkit, have the Zoom graphics come up at any time, or in the H2R graphics, let's say you're bringing in YouTube graphics, you could have that coming up at any time too.
That's
but again,
exactly
as
what
two
I'm.
different, you could have both inputs on top of each other on as double overlay over top of the main camera.
That's exactly how I'm planning to use it.
Yeah.
So I
Asmus
may
is a
use
He's a proud owner of a 2ME as well.
So I may use H2R graphics for my lower thirds and other graphic,
Right.
and then use this toolkit on one of the other upstream keys to bring in the toolkit.
Right.
You know,
Now, again, don't forget, you could also do lower thirds with the toolkit, the Zoom toolkit as well. So if it is a Zoom specific chat, you could bring that in as a lower third too.
Gotcha.
Okay.
So I'm just thinking, I'll almost pinch myself because 5 years ago, when I just joined office hours, I think I listened for about a month before I said a word. And finally, I had the courage to say, what do you mean by screen scraping? What the heck is screen scraping?
Yeah.
Now I'm glibly talking about upstream keys and chroma keys and
Luma keys and all kinds of keys, and everybody's got the keys. And let's see if Robert's got a key. Has Robert got a key?
I think I remember when you asked that question.
There you go. Robert, you having any good luck over there? You came back to this machine, so I'm going to assume maybe.
Yeah, I managed to display what's it? Replying to thread by Robert test. Okay, can I just share my screen to show you what's come up? Don't know where Zoom is.
Pick that Zoom.
Too many screens. Okay. I'm going to show this. This is what I'm viewing at the moment.
All right. So Robert needs some information in there.
No, one thing is I haven't figured out how to make a transparent background.
Okay. All right. So right now, this is what Hasmut was talking about.
Yeah.
Correct, Hasmut? Yeah.
yeah, spot on.
Yeah. John, any luck on transparency? I don't know how far you've gotten.
You
Yeah, sure. I'm just going to launch vMix and I can show you through that then, can't I?
I
Sure.
think there's a palette where you can choose colors and those things, and there's a slider you pull across that changes then to transparent background.
Okay, because in the background I've got a transparent background selected. The background size is contain or cover.
Robert, what software are you bringing this into? Just for everybody on YouTube? Are you bringing this into Mimo, maybe?
No, I'm not. I'm not bringing it into anything. I'm just screen shared.
Oh, okay.
I put the URL into a browser, and this is what's being generated on my other computer because I'm on the same network.
Right.
Not like David was, but
Yeah. We lost David, unfortunately, and he ran away. So David will be joining us next week. He didn't run that far away. He'll be joining us next week
on the same network.
On the same channel. Absolutely. And don't forget, as Robert and we're waiting for John and Robert to show up here, to let everybody know too that that in the Discord, speaking of channels, we now David has renamed the channel. So as of today, of course, now we have a Zoom webinar event, webinars plus. I think there's a bunch of dashes in there due to Discord. Events channel now has been renamed in there. So do check that out. And we're hoping that Josh can actually join us as well for that to answer anybody's questions like Andy and Jonathan do. Go ahead, Robert.
You know what? I think I'm just doing this wrong. I think in the URL in the browser, it will have a white background for some odd reason, because when I look at the output, it's got a transparent background. Let me just put it through an OBS or something and bring it in and see what happens.
Yeah, yeah. I know John is actually working on just for other testing purposes. John's actually working on getting it working into vMix right now too. So we'll have a bit of a vMix display of the graphics toolkit live here on Zoom Test Kitchen. So we'll be doing it in multiple different ways. So yeah, again, too, like I mentioned earlier when Josh was here, if anybody is interested in the actual stuff that Peter and I were talking about briefly, which is if you're already familiar with the ATEM world and you're already familiar with the streaming. Oh, Pete, I had it before. The streaming, what is that unit?
Streaming Bridge.
Streaming Bridge, thank you. Yes. If you're familiar with the Streaming Bridge product, how you could be able to have a special XML type file that you can import into your ATEM, and that will let you know where the Stream Bridge information is. I've made a similar file because right now, obviously, ATEM only has certain content delivery networks built into their ATEM encoder units. More specifically, I've been testing with ATEM Mini Pro, so I know that the config actually will work in there, but I am still doing more testing on that. But if anybody wants those configs, absolutely, I'll have those available for our Discord members. So just reach out to me on Discord.
Robert, under the graphic editor, you'll see viewport, and under that, background and the full. So if you click on full, you have two sliders, and the bottom slider, if you pull it right across to the left, should make it transparent.
There is full.
When you go to, let's say you go into Graphics Manager, and then choose the graphic that you're working on.
Yep.
And then there are basically two windows: the actual detail, which is designer settings, template editor, etc. On the right-hand side, you have the preview.
Correct.
So under that graphic, you will see viewport. So if just make sure that just like the graphics editor where that arrowhead is open or closed, it should bring it up. You with me? No?
No.
Okay, let me share my screen if I can.
Yep, go right ahead.
There we go. You can see that? I'm
Got
talking
your
about
screen.
this one
Yep.
here.
Yeah, we can see your screen, husband. Go ahead.
Yeah, so this is the viewport. There we go. And then this part here. You can see it's showing transparent there.
Correct.
So this would generate, that's why you're seeing this in the preview, that it's transparent.
Yeah.
But when you plug in it into the browser, it shows you the white screen.
Correct.
And that's where I got a little confused of how the overlay is going to work if it's showing the white screen.
Okay, let me just bring it into OBS. I've nearly got it ready. I think I'm with it. Yeah, I don't understand, to tell you the truth, but maybe this is something that I'm trying to click on your screen.
Let me stop sharing.
Yeah.
There
And
we go.
and I think John was teasing that he actually might got us something working over there. But we'll go to John here momentarily. But Hasmuth, I thought I saw a poll up on John's screen for a few seconds, so I'm just letting you know. I'm seeing good news there, sir. And Hasmuth, let me tell you, considering you did not know a lot of this technology before, and now you're teaching Robert, I mean, like, seriously, we're going to do like emojis for Hasmuth. You know, as far as I'm concerned, yes, YouTube, let's get some emojis for Hasmuth for that. Let me tell you. That's awesome. And hopefully John didn't break what he was doing.
So dumb question, Mike. How do I get
Sure.
Can you send me a link to the Discord server?
Oh,
I'm not
very
on.
good. Yes. So actually, if you go to our zoomtestkitchen.com website, you will see the Discord icon on there. And it should be just above where our Zoom meeting link is, if I remember correctly off of the website. But I will actually put that in YouTube chat as well.
So Zoom Test Kitchen.
Yeah, zoomtestkitchen.com, where we live every week here on Friday. How do we live? We live very zoomy. I'm just looking for my.
Oh, there it is.
You're able to find it?
Yep. Nice.
Excellent. That's what I would like to hear. All right. And I also found the link for everybody on YouTube. So here it is. It's now, it should be in chat for you on YouTube, so that you could actually join our Discord server. All of our links to become a panelist, to become part of watch our YouTube archives, and obviously our Discord channel that Peter just found us on there. The invite worked, John, Peter?
Yeah, I'm about ready. I have to.
Yeah, you probably have to be on the same machine that you have your Discord client on.
Yeah, so I've just give me a few minutes to get myself organized here.
Cool. Yeah, but it's looking good so far, right? So the actual link worked?
Yes, it took me. Now I'm going through the infamous multi-factor authentication.
Yep. Perfect. Good. No, sometimes Discord will expire the invitations link. So that's good that it's still working. So that's awesome.
Because I was going to ask you to send me the XML file so I could test it on my streaming bridge.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. It might, well, on the streaming bridge.
Works. So there's software. What I discovered when I moved from one of the ATEM Mini, because I had an ATEM Mini Pro ISO before I got
Right.
my 2ME,
Mhm.
which obviously you just change the XML file for that guy. But when I went to the 2ME, I also ended up getting a streaming bridge, so I could full screen. And XML file's identical, as it turns out.
Yes. Yeah. The formatting. Yes. That is the great thing about the Blackmagic, is the formatting of it is that I've never thought of using the streaming bridge as an encoder though. So that's interesting. Because usually the streaming bridge is to bring in a remote site that will the ideal usage in their mind was to have the streaming bridge at in Hasmuth's situation where at the doctor's office, he would actually have a camera sitting there and he could just have the streaming bridge sitting there. And then the streaming bridge would actually broadcast back to the ATEM.
Right.
Yeah. I know, Hasmuth, you just heard that. Close your ears, Hasmuth. Don't change it. I'm just saying that is an example, though. Hasmuth's laughing at me, YouTube. So there you go. But yeah, that could be. But yes, it should be the same format. But yeah, definitely, I was, if you have the streaming web, what is the
Web presenter?
Web presenter. Yes, for sure, 100% it will work in Web presenter or any of the ATEMs that have the built-in encoders. So extreme ISOs, ATEM Mini Pros, anything Pro or Pro and Pro ISOs, anything that has the encoder chip in it that you could actually RTMP out, then it should work in there. Because I was able to get the template working so that you would just have to put in the Zoom stream key and the stream key and actually, let me just pull that up so I talking about it properly. All right, there we go. So I'm in my switcher right now. Yeah, I actually called it Zoom for webinars because again, it is specific for webinars. So I actually put in the primary and the backup server, like Josh was mentioning, and you would just have to put in your key and then you have your choice. So actually what I'll do quickly while everybody is still doing that, I'll actually share my screen to show everybody what it looks like. Yep, there we go, and share. So everybody should actually see if you're familiar with the ATEM software control. So this is my ATEM Mini Pro itself. So in here, amongst the list of the defaults that come in to your normal, that come with your ATEM Mini Pro or base unit that has the encoder in it, you'll actually see the live stream section. And because I've done the actual import of it, and it was the actual here, and Zoom for webinars comes in. And now you've got your choice of your primary and your backup. And then you would just have to put in your stream key here that you would get from our friends at Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
And that should work. And then I've left and I've made the configurations, streaming high, medium, and low, hyperdeck high, medium, low, similar to YouTube. And based on the specifications of what Zoom currently wants the actual feeds to be coming out of the ATEMs. And Robert looks like he's a very happy man, so I will stop sharing. Back to you, Robert.
Yeah, I've managed to get it working, and I can see John's got his working as well. Interesting, two things that were really interesting is that the URL that I'd got, I put it into the browser and it stopped working. And there'll be lots of delays because it's going through OBS and all sorts of things are happening at the moment. And once I had configured it in OBS, it's still the graphics didn't show up, the Zoom graphics. I had to close OBS and restart it before it could capture that URL. So that started working.
Robert, have you got blurred background on?
No.
Because your content looks blurred, as if Zoom's blurring it.
Let me check. I don't think so. I'd never use it.
Yeah, because your video is very sharp, but the OBS is very dull. Like the bottom part is okay, but it's
so you've got the last two entries. You've got the working and the simulated data. They're showing up well. Yes, it is. It's blurring because of you.
Yeah, it is
doing something in the camera. Because you notice when you drag it over you, it's clear because
Are you on a Mac?
Yes, I am. I know what it is. Just a minute.
Got the portrait mode in the camera in the Mac.
No, I was playing with this and the other day. I know what it is. Just a second. Let me grab it.
There's a few effects, isn't there, in the Mac? And I think you've turned.
I switched on portrait lighting.
That's it. Yeah,
that's it.
There we are. See, turn it off. Now look, its text is really readable.
Yeah, but the portrait lighting is actually in Zoom, not in the Mac.
Yes, but it's picking up your OBS is going into the camera, isn't it? And then it's treated like the camera. So I get caught out by that all the time. I have to keep going around and removing all the special features.
Yes, I wonder why it's chopping your post, your chat post. It's chopped it on the left-hand side.
You might be, I think you're doing one of the different ones, Robert, that is sort of cascading. There's another one there that's the flat. You might want to try that.
Okay.
And Hasma, go ahead and ask John what he's doing over there. I know you're
Robert. Yeah, Robert, are you using OBS to bring in the graphics?
Yes, I am.
Yeah. Okay.
And I've just got two layers. I've brought the transparent layer. It is transparent though, even though in the web browser it's got a white background. In OBS it comes out transparent, so that's good.
So, I mean, John's still has a white background. does it mean that if you put it in a browser on the graphics machine and you use that as an overlay, will it work, or do you still have to put it into OBS or something else?
No, Hasmuth, again, no. In the 810 world, no. Again, what you'll have to do is just make sure that whatever the background ends up being that you got coming out of the, let's say it's a PC that you're running this on, or Mac, whatever that output screen is, if it's going to be Luma or Chroma. So in this case, it'd probably be better to probably use Luma, which is black.
Yeah.
Then make sure that when in the 810, you're telling it to be in
Luma key mode.
Luma mode. Yeah, Luma key
mode. Yeah.
And then you won't have where OBS, you have to be a little more finicky, and it's a little more in that regard. Go ahead.
But let's say I copied the URL from the graphics toolkit and I'm putting it into a browser, and I'm going to use that browser window to overlay. But when I insert that URL in my browser, it shows as a complete white background. Is that right, Robert?
No,
That's
it isn't
exactly
showing
what-
as a white background. It's showing as a transparent background, but your background of your browser is white. If you put it in dark mode, the background would be black, but it's actually
gotcha.
transparent.
Okay.
Okay.
It's a trick I only know because I had the same issue playing around with doing apps in Zoom, and I couldn't work out why my background had to be a certain color, and that's what it is.
Right. Gotcha.
And Hasmuth, guaranteed you're going to be asking John, so how did you get that poll up on your screen? You are seeing that, right? It's hiding behind all those emojis flying across the front of it.
That poll, white background of that poll, I should be able to, if I can work out which setting it is, I should be able to change that color. But I don't know if it's going to change live or whether I have to
John,
reload it.
that's after the poll, you publish the results. Am I correct?
After the poll is finished, this graphics toolkit can get the results and then publish them as a pie chart or a line chart.
Yeah.
And the reason mine's going wild and you're not doing anything to create that is because I've got it in live simulated mode. So it's creating data for me to demonstrate rather than grabbing the real results of what's going on the screen.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And John, you're not grabbing from us, correct? You're just it's just making randomized.
It has a option called live data and simulated data. So when you're playing with it, when you're editing it, when you're getting to know how it works before you go live, you can set simulated data, and that gives you some information to see what it looks like, so you can then play around with the settings.
Right. So that again allows you to Hasmuth. So if he wanted to move
that
the
allows you to
emoji to
customize
one
it
side
and
or the
everything.
other side, that's where, right?
I've seen that. Yeah.
And if you have a look at the very bottom of that section, it says show simulated data on live output. And if you click that box, then it does what I do now, which is to take the simulated data, but it's actually showing it within the live production that I'm running at the moment. And this is just a browser window from vMix.
Which again, John had to bring in Hasmuth as a transparent overlay functionality.
Yeah, because everything else around me, everything else around the box is transparent, you see.
Right. I also noticed that in the chat graphic, you also have short, medium, and long. So you can choose the box size of your chat.
Yes. Yes. They've actually gone backwards in a way, because when they demonstrated to us originally, there was like a ridiculous number of settings you could play with. And the observation was made that it was just too much. So they've reduced the number of settings you can play around with. However, if you really want to show off, they've left an ability to change the style sheet and the HTMLs. And for those people that know what style sheets and HTMLs are, they can play with them. For the rest of us that don't know what those are, we'll just ignore that comment and use what we've got instead. but you can change all
Yeah.
the colors, and the options are really good.
So, John, I have to say, I know what they are. I'm still going to ignore them.
Okay, it's one of those ChatGPT questions again, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I think the polite answer is if you have a customer who needs a special corporate style and you take the time to set it up, then you could create a corporate style of any color sets you like
mhm.
and work it from
Yeah.
there.
Yeah. So Hasma, as an example, when Zoom is doing the Zoomtopia, of course, they want all Zoom colors, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So in fact, when I downloaded this beta, I found it very useful to go back to when Andy and them were showing this in Zoom Test Kitchen, and they were demoing this. It was very useful to go through that.
Yeah, absolutely. But take into consideration that when Jonathan was doing the demo, that he was doing it based on OBS, right?
Right. Yes, yes, absolutely.
Again, where your workflow is ATEM now, you just have to, where he was
Sure.
doing the OBS portion, now you have to make it ATM and Black Magic.
Yeah, yeah. Gotcha.
So John's playing with a bit of the stuff over there, as you can see live there. So now the poll disappeared on him. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like the simulated hasn't given me a live question. So you can actually work it into two methods. So you can actually show it to show the question. And then you've got the option to add the, oh, sorry, the word sim question is supposed to be the question. So you've got two modes in this. You've got the question. So you just have you have nothing. Then you have a box, which gives you sim question, which is supposed to be the question. So the question would be there. And then you can click another button, and then that shows the results of the question. So that's how that works.
Yeah. So basically what John is mentioning is that the actual sim question is, what was the poll question that was given, right? So you could actually show that first before you actually do your full results of, dun, da, da, da. Then all of a sudden you have your, then all of a sudden the pretty pie chart comes up as John showing, or the pretty bars, right?
Gotcha. Well, good night, everybody. Thanks so much.
Yes.
Thank you, Hesmak.
Yeah.
And you can change the size
Thank you,
as well.
Hasmak.
Or is that just for me?
This needs to be played with a little bit, but the potential is huge.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Yes.
have to decide, do I want to bring it in through the ATEM or bring it in through my copy of Memo Live?
Yeah. And again, it's all about your workflow, Peter. That's the way it is, right? So
It's interesting. I use the Memo Live probably for an overly simplistic purpose, which is backgrounds for my super sources, right?
yeah.
And to play video and to play pre-canned videos into the system.
Yeah. And again, see, for me right now, I'm actually, the actual outside of my box is actually a video input into the ATEM, and I'm just playing VLC. So again, my workflow is different from everybody else's, but that is just VLC because I can control it from the BitFocus companion, right? So,
Right.
And again, that is just a video looping in the background, and I've just keyed myself the box over top. And again, in the ATEM Mini Pro world, I can do this right now, but I can't go any further than this of having the multiple layers. Yes, Mr. Drinkwater. Oh, are you just testing?
I would like to make this point
Yes.
again, because it really needs to be made again. I am able to do this because I have a license. Robert's been able to do this because he has a license. We have a plus license, an events plus license, a webinars plus license, events license. So we are able to do this on the account, using the account that we've got that license on. But this is not our meeting. And we are here providing this information.
Yeah.
So this is a app that follows me and my login, that follows Robert and his login, but we can take it to any production that we're involved in, even if it's been made by somebody who has nothing to do with our account. We've turned up to the meeting and we're able to take this information and produce it. Now, I'm pretty sure that Robert wouldn't be able to do the poll results because he's not a co-host at the moment. And Zoom does have a rule that if you can't do it in real life, you can't do it in virtual life. So I'm pretty sure he would need to be a co-host to be able to see the poll results. But he doesn't need to be even in an account that's owned by his organization. He's brought this app into a completely different organization and it works fine. And that's a very generous thing of Zoom to allow us to do, to take that expertise and that app into somebody else's world.
Yeah, very, very important. Very important that you said that, John. It is very important because, again, there's a lot of different viewpoints on this. Is that, oh, well, for me to be in using X, I need to have these privileges. I need to always have to be co-host, or I can't do anything.
Yeah.
In this case, Robert won't be able to do the polls because he's not got the privileges of a co-host that can do polls. So that's also the important stuff too. But if you just wanted to bring in the graphic toolkit so that you could actually have your own lower third of your name, you can do something as simple as that.
I would actually love him to try though, because you never know, Andy might have found a way around the system and this app may have more privileges than we do.
All right, Mr. Robert.
Yeah, I was just going to say, but as the I'm not a co-host, so I can't see the poll results. So there's nothing for me to display. Yeah? But I can see the chat. I can see the Q&A. What else can I see? That's about it. Do you
All right.
like QR codes?
Yes, and of course, John and I can't, as co-hosts, give any feedback. Oh, we've got one feedback. Yes, so just to let everybody know on YouTube, we're actually running a little Zoom poll right now so we can have some poll data. There's only a few of us in here, but unfortunately, John and I can't vote because we're host and co-host right now. But all right, so I do see that we have two people that could vote, and that was Peter and Robert. Yay, way to go, guys. All
so
right,
you may have to upgrade Robert to co-host and see if he can see the poll data.
Okay, all right, so upgrading Robert to co-host.
Not me, Robert. You need to do the graphics. Zoom graphics, Robert.
The graphics, Robert. Yes, sir.
Graphics, Robert didn't vote. We should pay attention, you know.
Oh. All right, make Zoom graphics, Robert, a co-host. Here we go. All right. And all of a sudden the thumb went up. Instant.
No, you can't do it yet. I haven't done the sound effect yet. I didn't do the sound effect.
Just a minute, I need to set it up.
So the official ad, so you noticed, and again, just to let everybody on YouTube know what I've done at this end, because I'm currently host, I have not shared the results in the room, in the actual Zoom meeting right now. I'm still at the button where it says share results. So right now, this gives John time and Robert time now to actually configure the actual graphics itself before they actually get posted internally. And then I would guess I would have to do that first, John. Am I correct? I would have to share, then you guys can show the graphic, or no?
No, don't share because you'll spoil the effect.
Oh, of course, of course. All right, I'm waiting for my TDs that have been appointed right now doing the graphics in the background.
I'm pretty sure he should be able to display the results now.
Even though we haven't shared them with the room.
Doesn't matter. The poll has been executed. The results are in the system, so he should be able to.
Okay.
Access the results.
Right. So just to let
you don't have to show the results in a poll to finish the process. It's only optional.
Right. Yeah. So just to let everybody know as well, officially what I'm seeing from host is that it right now says meeting poll ended. There's one question out of the 4 people that could participate. 2 of the 4 have participated, and I've got the results, which I'm not going to spoil yet because my TDs have told me not to, so I'm not. And and I have not, as far as everybody is concerned. If you're a host and you've done polls before, right now I'm at the share results button page. So if you're familiar with polls, you should know what I'm talking about.
To be very honest, I don't know what to do with these results.
You don't, was that you don't want to, Robert? Is that what you said?
I don't know what to do with them.
Oh, you don't know how to do it. I know, John, you've been playing a little further, so I know you probably got it a little further working on that. You want to walk Robert through that a little bit if you want? And I'll just minimize. And I won't share until you guys have done this too. We could actually show this live.
I don't mind showing it live.
There's a poll manager and a question manager down the left-hand side. I think you need to use those.
Yeah, I've got poll manager. I can see the poll results over here. To the right-hand
Cool.
side, I've got something called questions. And do you like using QR codes? And I can display it as a bar chart or a pie chart.
That's it.
And then I've clicked on showing results. Okay. And then
Okay.
when I go to the graphics manager, I don't see that poll.
Has it given you another URL to share? Because it won't be the same one as your chat one. It'll be a new one.
Well, it doesn't appear in the graphics manager for me to grab the URL. That's the problem.
Okay. So do you have to create a new graphic first that allows you to run a poll to display poll results? Maybe you need a graphic, create a graphic to have the poll results if you haven't got one already. So you go to graphics manager, hit new graphic. Then choose poll results.
That's it.
Give yourself a design.
Yeah, that was done with me. I didn't do that. Yep.
And then create it.
Name.
Oh, and you've got to give it a name and everything as well. And then I can't take you to the next level without logging out and logging back in again. Oh, I don't know. Let's see. Maybe I can connect.
We just send this across because I don't have it on the same machine.
Oh, no. Do you know what I said? I was fibbing. This is cool. Hope you're listening, Andy. This is, oh, I said it again. That's 3 times.
I appeared instead. Is that okay? It wasn't Andy.
That's okay.
I'm sorry. All right.
No, that's okay.
Oh, hold on. All of a sudden somebody wants to come in. We'll see.
I just joined as a different person. See, my programmer brain would say I shouldn't be able to get away with that, but I have. So it's obviously allowed.
You
I've now logged in as 2 different
scared me there,
people.
sir. I almost had to throw up your other list or your other app on that one.
Yeah, you wondered who I was then. I've turned up as 2 different people. So now I'm in the meeting. So I can go to question manager. I can't see the questions. Oh, can you make my guy a what's it person? Oh, he's got there. You see, I knew with a bit of pressure he'd beat me. Hold on. I've got a special effect for this. Oh, I really need to put these all on buttons. Where's me? vMix. Oh,
Done, sir.
He's done it. He's done it. He's done it so well that I will have to activate my microphone, I think.
What's
And
also
John-
cool is it's easy to switch if you've got several graphics up. You can switch them on and off as
Correct.
needed, which is also
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, again, it's their individual web pages, so they're individual overlays.
Very nice stereo in the works. That had depth. It was really good.
And custom made too. All right, so officially you say you're seeing the
Yeah.
two interesting. So officially it still says no votes and no votes, which is interesting. Let me go back to the poll. Is this now because I haven't shared the results that you're not seeing the true results? It only being 0 and 0?
Oh, let me just check that. I don't know why it's doing that.
Yeah, the story behind that claps is I recorded myself doing 7 different versions of claps and then superimposed them all using Adobe Audition. And I made myself 3 unique versions of claps.
Cool. Very cool.
So officially, as you see, Robert is still showing 0 and 0, and I know the real answer. John, are you seeing 0 and 0?
I'm not seeing anything at all, but this
I'm
may
seeing-
be due
I'm
to the
seeing
fact that
0.
I wasn't in the meeting before it was finished, and maybe
Oh.
it didn't pick it up.
What was that, Peter? Go ahead.
I said I'm seeing 0 and 0 as well.
Oh, okay, so Peter's in as well doing this.
No, I'm not
Everybody's
doing.
testing today.
No,
No?
I'm seeing the graphic that says 0 and 0.
Oh, from Robert.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah. No, I was just asking. Yeah. When it comes to what John had. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So there, yeah. So there's the first. Yeah. So that's where you show the question. Then officially you have the answers, but officially it's saying 0 and 0 because I haven't shared right now currently still. Could that be true?
That doesn't make sense at all.
Well, it does because the to me the Zoom meeting should get the results first, which means
No,
then
'cause you don't.
be
You
able to
don't have
grab
to
it.
use that.
Hmm.
You don't have to use that.
So, John, what are you saying then? And of course, if Andy's eventually watching us too, if I hear a bing, I know where it's coming from.
Yeah.
Okay. We did say it 3 times, so you never
We
know.
need to do a sumo song about Andy, so we can play the Andy song.
So, what do you think, Robert? You liking this so far?
I am liking it. And what I really like is that you can actually switch the question up, put the question on, remind everyone of the question, then flick the results on, which is quite.
Yeah. So you can add a little more suspense too.
Yeah, it would be nice if it actually gave some results, but I think that's a bit of a hiccup, that's all.
Well, the only thing again that I haven't done, guys, and I just want John to confirm this, is that I have not shared results with the meeting internally. So I will hit that button once everybody
For your
agrees.
peace of mind.
Yeah. Go ahead, John.
Yep. 1 yes and 1 no.
It's not in my graphics though.
Yeah, okay, so the official answer, even though I haven't hit the button, the official answer is 1 yes, 1 no. For our YouTube audience.
You didn't have to because as soon as you say end the poll, the response box comes up.
Right, for everybody within the meeting.
Yeah.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. But again, it might be that we can't grab that John and Robert can't grab that content until I do that. That's why I'm trying to make sure that's.
But the results have only come up to the people who are hosts or co-hosts. They haven't come up to everyone, surely.
When you share the results, they come to everybody. Everybody sees when you share results.
They haven't been shared yet.
Well, I saw them on my screen. Somebody shared them.
No.
Now they've been shared. Now they've been shared.
But that's the same box I saw 2 minutes ago.
Yeah, but you must be a co-host, Peter.
I don't think so.
No, he isn't. No, he's just a
Peter's
normal
not.
everyday guy.
I'm just your general schmuck today. That's all.
Okay, so John, you were controlling that, were you? Doing the share and unshare?
Yeah, I was doing that share and unshare.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So maybe I've got the wrong results.
No, you've got the right ones, because you've got the. You see, I know from both sides because I've hit both sides, so I know that there are. And you can look at it too now if you want to, because are you co-host yourself? Well, anyhow, there are
Yes.
4 quizzes built into this particular meeting, and they're the same 4 quizzes that you see in the poll manager on Zoom,
Mhm.
on graphics toolkit. So that's correct. Okay, so all I can say is I'm going to relaunch the poll. If you could vote again. If you look while we're voting, Robert, you'll see in the poll manager it says in progress.
Correct. Oh, no, it's changed.
No,
I
it's because I
clicked.
hit submit on my poll. I entered the poll and hit submit.
Okay,
So
it still
did
says
I.
in progress. Yeah. So I'm going to end the poll now.
Yep.
And it changed the status to ended. I wonder if it's got the results right this time. Have a go now.
2 votes, yes, correct.
Yeah,
Okay. So the programmer's answer is it needs to be in the meeting and it needs to be waiting for the poll to hear the poll. So obviously as the poll's happening, it's picking up things that are happening during the poll, and if it's not there before the poll starts, it can't give you the answers. So it's seeing the results as they are created, which is great because I've now learned something, and that'll make it easier for me to make my version. Well, I want to do this, but I want it to work inside the browser of
Inside the
my
camera.
window in Zoom, so I don't have to be running a third-party app like vMix, OBS, Vimo Live, any of those. I want the results to be able to come in here. That's my
just to make
variation
sure
on
that
it.
John uses the right terminology to make sure that it comes into the camera.
Yeah, the camera window.
Yeah.
What sort of feed are you going to push in there?
In the camera window, as was seen on Lord Zoom Dev Live, at this point, Mike's going to bring up the logo. No, it's not that quick.
Coming.
No, he wasn't ready. You see, I didn't give him I didn't give him the lead up. He didn't get a chance.
No, it wasn't enough.
I should have done
longer.
the lead up like I usually do.
Little
Talk
longer.
for 10 seconds, and he thinks so. So anyhow, in that in my live shows that I've been doing about developers, my 3rd show of the week on the Wednesdays, I am talking about Zoom apps, but not, this is the bit of code you write and this does this. I'm explaining how the particular apps can work in a particular environment so people can see whether it's something they would want to use or take advantage of. And the browser window here, the window where my camera is and the window where your camera is seen, is still a browser. This is still a browser window. So I can bring browser content into this window, just like anywhere else.
Okay, gotcha.
There it is. You see, if you just give him enough of a lead up, he comes. He's a great wingman. This guy, Mike Latter, wingman to the famous, and me.
Thank you, sir.
But is there any way of sending this URL outside of the local network?
Yes.
Yes.
And not by a VPN?
Yes. You would have to open, the
NROC?
dirty way of doing it, the unsecure way of doing it would be opening the port on the firewall.
Yeah.
You can have an NROC
And as
connection.
Peter laughed at me, but that's the bad way of doing it. There's better ways of doing it. VPN wise would be better, but yes, you could actually, and again, what would it be? It would just be like you going to a website on that port remotely. But is that bad? Yes, because we don't know what security is in place within the actual graphic toolkit. That's why Pete made the laugh that he did. Yes.
Yeah. But you'll appreciate this. I lived in Ottawa for 3.5 years doing some work, but I still had my house with my family down here in Texas. I actually had a pair of Cisco routers at each end that established a VPN so we all looked like we were on the same network.
There you go.
When Dad is the technical support and Dad is out of the country, that became very useful. But it also was interesting. I could watch hockey games from Texas that were only broadcast in Canada.
Yes. Welcome to the world of everybody trying to get around Netflix nowadays.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, this was 2006.
That's right.
Okay, so that's
The
19
tech was
years of
around,
time.
Yeah.
but the need, not necessarily. Go ahead,
But it
John.
wasn't a commercialized product. It was a very highly technical person doing
So
that.
the answer to your question, Robert, is yes. So you could have somebody who makes that URL available. There's a product called NRock, which I use for my developers thing, and that gives me a URL which I can then share off my computer, can then appear in this URL that you can get anywhere around the world. And that's how I test my apps. Now I could easily do the same thing by switching it over so it picks up the link from Graphics Toolkit, makes it available on the internet, and yeah, somebody else on the internet could be in your production, and they could pull it down. There wouldn't be any delay because it's only a web page, isn't it? So they could bring it down into their production, whatever their production software is, whether it be OBS, vMix, Mimo Live, whatever. They could put it into the browser source and they could display it there.
But
So you could
but the,
certainly
yeah,
pass
but
this
the
around
potential
if you
would
wanted
be,
to.
Robert, would be that, you would actually get a small, what we call nowadays in the content delivery network world, we would call that a droplet on a, like an AWS or insert company here. And basically it's just a web server sitting there. And you could have all your graphics sitting on that web server if you wanted to there ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, it is, basically what you are running as the graphic toolkit is really a GUI interface that's making web pages that sit on there that you call up through that web URL.
Okay, let me put this use case slightly differently. What
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out is, can I put this onto the webcam of a user who is totally not technical at the other end?
I would say, John, eventually is fair.
Well, I was just thinking about that. I think I hate to say it, but I could do it if I did it in combination with Zoom ISO and my 2ME. I could overlay the graphic on the person.
Yes, in full production mode, if you're bringing in the Zoom ISO person back in and you want to make it pretty and be able to do all kinds of things and then bring it back into the meeting, absolutely. But that's the whole. But this is where we're talking of it being on the camera itself. It would be equivalent to being what we can now call a filter.
Yeah.
But you're bringing in an actual transparent HTML page, and instead of it being a transparent PNG.
Right. Well, there's also the I mean, if we had a virtual camera that would feed it, like what's that pen app that you can use?
Well, again, as you're looking for that, Pete, I would just tell everybody too, again, OBS has the virtual cam functionality, and that's what you're doing, Robert, right now, right? Is that you're using OBS, then you're bringing the graphic toolkit into OBS and you're using the virtual camera coming from OBS, and that's overlaying it. But what we're talking about is the actual, within the actual Zoom Workplace app itself, you would launch an actual Zoom Marketplace app that you would be able to then go in and choose what kind of overlay you would want, be it a lower third. Then you would just put in your name and then all of a sudden hit a button, and that would automatically be an HTML page that would become as part of your camera input. John, did I speak out of turn? No, I got a thumbs up from Johnny, and that's impressive because he's the developer man, not me. So I'm learning, and I think I got it right. Okay, so that's good. All right, YouTube audience, you've been awful quiet and you've been watching us do stuff. If you have questions, by all means, let us know. We are here to take questions from you. If you have any questions for us, let us know. And we can do some more demoing of the graphic toolkit. If you have specific questions about that, ask us. So that would, yeah. So basically, Robert, just to sum up so in theory, oh, I heard a ding ding. And oh, that's John coming in again. John, do you need any privileges for that?
No, I think it'd be fine as it is.
All righty. I will leave it alone. Yeah, so what in your question about being able to do that as a webcam for somebody else, they would just have to get the marketplace app. So it'd be equivalent to like having an SFX per se, but it would be HTML based. So then you'd be in full control of, it could be a marketplace app that is branded for you, for your clients, that you could actually make that could already be their color. If you did all the branding ahead of time, you could make that template sit on the web server and just have them, you'd have to maybe walk them through a little bit, but you can make that web page pretty user friendly where, when they want to have it on, you'd have a button that says turn on, and all of a sudden whoosh, the actual lower third will come up, and then turn off, whoosh, and then it would go away if they wanted to ever have it go away.
Yep. Okay.
Again, just like regular HTML5 graphic programs that are out there now. Go ahead, Robert.
It's the graphic tool that is available in the App Store at the moment that allows you to do lower thirds. I forgot the name.
SFX.
SFX.
Graphics.
Will that not allow you to pull in a remote feed for those graphics?
Over to you, John.
No, none of the current apps in the marketplace have the ability to do anything but make graphics lower thirds. And the primary reason for that is they don't have access to that data from where they are.
Mm-hmm. And Robert, your overlay's fuzzy again. There you go.
And just to let everybody know on YouTube, Robert's using a specific template that was already built in. And that's the one that is, I don't know what it's actually called. I don't have it in front of me, but it's that the reason that it's slanted a bit is because of it's the type of template that you chose. Yeah.
I'm trying another one at the moment.
All right. Now, again, see, this will be the interesting thing too, is that Robert actually could make this, as John keeps coming in and out of the room, as Robert makes another one, he could actually have it on the opposite side of the screen, and it could actually be the different format as well if he wanted to, because again, he's got the full control of OBS at his disposal of where the graphic could go, but also on top of that too, within the actual graphic toolkit as well, you could left align it or right align it or center it or wherever you want, because the different capabilities that Andy and Jonathan have built into the app. So here's Robert. He's yeah, and while everybody's watching Robert, about to add that second one underlay. John, you're logging in okay?
No, I'm rebooting the machine because I keep crashing Zoom when I try and come in.
All right. Cool.
I think I'm going to have to, my dog is being a pest. It's time for him to go out. So I will
That's rough.
Certainly is.
Have a good long weekend, Pete.
Yeah, you too.
Hey,
But
labor
John,
without the you.
I ignore him at my carpet's peril.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. It's called, stay with the Zoom test kitchen, or I'm going to be cleaning up the carpets afterwards. I get it. We fully understand. Have a good weekend, Pete. Labor without a you. Take care. All right, Robert.
I-
It's got
I-
a lower
I-
third slash, got all kinds of stuff.
No, this isn't a lower third. This is actually a chat post that I am highlighting. And this is cool because I can highlight different posts.
Yeah. And again, where this will come in useful for you, Robert, too, is that, and that's a chat post, correct? So this easily could be also Q&A, right? Where you could actually pull up the Q&A questions out of there too. We haven't got any questions in the tool in Q&A, and actually, what we should do is actually maybe add one in there, and you guys can play with that as well.
But actually, I'd like to just stick onto this, stay on this for a little while, because this is something that a lot of YouTubers do, where they highlight a chat message that is of interest. Yeah, so we can literally put it anywhere we want, and then once it's on, we can just change it and select the one we want.
Yep.
I'm sorry, Mike. This machine crashes every time I try and get into Zoom.
That's all right.
Not all right.
That's all right. We're testing. We're breaking things. Break it. It's good to be in the kitchen.
Okay, so let's try this Q&A thing.
All righty.
We've tested.
So what we need is somebody that's not a co-host, because I can't do it as host. If somebody's not logged in as that,
it's all right. You can demote me, Mike, if you want to, and I can do a polls. I can put a Q&A in.
All right. Yeah, 1 second. Participant and chat. And John, okay, which one now, John, please? Because you were in here about 2 or 3 times now. Your co-host one right now?
Yeah. Don't demote the co-host. Thank you.
Okay, you've been revoked. Revoke him. Okay, we have. Is that the one?
Revoking.
Is that the right one?
Yeah.
Cool.
Can you turn on the Q&A, please?
I can. Yes, right. That is my. And Hasbuck is coming back because he has questions. He couldn't sleep.
You can put him in the Q&A.
Hasbuck could not sleep. He has questions. I know he does. Okay, so in the Q&A, participants can submit questions. Is that better? Does that do it? All right. So I will. Yeah, this is a question for Robert. Okay, yeah, and I will not touch a thing. All right, so over to Robert. If you are seeing in the Q&A, 1 moment, please. Okay, or you just tell me you only see one.
No, just give me a second. I'm just setting it up as a different layer in OBS.
And Robert's demonstrating live on YouTube. All right.
Doing any sort of demonstration live is always hairy, but anyway.
That's all. That's okay. We're all friends here. This is. I'd rather us break it here than break it when we're actually paying for. When we're at a paid gig. Let's break it here. So I promise not to answer the question.
Okay, so that's on. Manager.
Does that mean you see it? Well, this is a question for Robert. It's there.
It's coming. Hold on.
Maybe the location isn't very, very good, but okay. Mind you, man, this isn't a bad question. Okay, and we're not even playing with the CSSs to make them fancy. This is just the default settings, so it's good. Good. When you unhighlight it, it cleans the screen, which is cool.
Yeah.
got it
And
too.
again, yeah. So Robert, yeah, again, from the graphic, yeah. So again, if you're using the toggle, it'll do the fade in and fade out as it was doing. That one right now, as you saw, it did it from bottom up. So they probably made that one to be more of a lower third because it doesn't make sense to be that high to do it from the bottom up fade. So I would, if I were you having it that high, I would reverse it so that it's doing a top down fade. It's just one of those production things to make sure that you're coming from the outer part of the window.
Yep. So it's coming up in, but it's disappearing. So it's not very nice the way it's disappearing. It'd be nice to disappear down, but that's something to play with. I think the very fact
you
that
could
it
actually have it
works,
fade out too if you wanted, instead of it actually go back down too, guaranteed.
yeah, there are lots of options. I've seen the options, but I didn't want to jump into the rabbit hole of all of the options because then you don't sort of miss the big picture. And the big picture here is super interesting.
Yep.
Oh, Hasmuk's come back to see us play with his toys.
Yeah. And I keep saying yes to John. That's all I got to know. That's everybody. That's all everybody needs to know. It's John again. Yeah. All right. And so
John has
Q&A.
put on his headphones, which are connected to that big antenna, umbrella-shaped antenna, which is collecting radiation from outer space.
John's all confused now.
We have been observing your Earth and we wish to make contact with you.
Well, this is coming out as vocal. We're testing the Zoom graphics features now, so there's something wrong.
Yeah. So John, that's you in vMix doing that, and that's Robert, that's you doing that in OBS, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
So Hasmuk, if you joined us now, you will actually see that that was bringing in live questions. And just before you joined, I don't know if you saw it or not, but we were bringing in live chat as the lower third. Examples. Oh, now we're emojiing. Now again, that's John, you adding another layer from vMix, right? And Robert's adding more emojis, but officially, are you running sim emojis, John?
Yeah, that's the simulated emojis at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. Turn that off for a sec so Robert can send some emojis and see what it looks like.
Yeah, I need to log back in. Where's the screen? I need to find the screen of the admin. There it is. So if I go in here somewhere, I should be able to turn it into live data. Hold on, I've got to work out which one it is.
I think my live data is coming through anyway. Nope.
It's interesting though that your thumbs up every time you're doing your thumbs up in your top left is not coming up on YouTube though, but all the emojis that you're sending, John, is. Oh no, you're still that's simulated because I'm seeing. Oh yeah, no, that was it. John, that was live, right?
Yep, I believe that's live now.
Yeah, that is live now. Yeah, because it's only
Just
thumbs up
thumbs.
coming from Rob. Yeah.
Nice.
And again, John, you're able. Yeah, we actually broke it the first time we were testing this earlier this week. When we did it, because it actually wasn't leaving the actual bottom portion.
Yeah, it was disappearing. It wasn't. It was just disappearing into. You started and then it just disappeared. You didn't see the rest of it scrolling.
Yeah. So it stayed, Robert. For your sake, it's actually stayed in the bottom. You see where the old emojis are showing right now.
Yeah.
That John's showing that it only stayed in there. It never actually left to actually go up the screen.
Interesting.
So yeah, so keep your eyes out on that. If you are doing the emojis, you do run into that. It may be a certain setting that you haven't got. And John, do you remember what you did to fix that? I think you just blew it away and redid a brand new one again, right?
Yeah, I just did it from the start.
Yeah.
No, I didn't. Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, it's another one. But these are neat little tools.
They are very, I really like them. And but there's one thing for sure. This is something that you need to set up and let someone be focused on and manage during the event. It's not something you want to be able to do by yourself, I don't think.
Right. And this is again perfect example, bringing it back to the infamous Webinar Plus. You could easily have somebody in backstage doing this. That's actually, and the important thing that I think we forgot to talk about was, and this is what I love doing when on John's show, when I'm with him every Tuesday, is I will actually listen. I can actually listen to the live stage audio backstage as a person. So I can actually listen to to what John's talking about to know that when John's ready to cue me up to actually come into the show, that I'm getting my audio cue so that I can actually join, and then boop, then I pop up.
And you could stay in backstage and control this, Robert, because the person that you need to be on the stage is the overlay.
You're right.
But
Didn't think about that.
your Zoom is different to the overlay Zoom, so you can stay backstage.
Yep.
What I don't know is if Graphics Toolkit will actually see the vote. It should be to see the votes, even if it was backstage as well.
Well, again,
Because we do
yeah.
when we're there, so it must be, so it would be able to see the results of the votes and everything while it was backstage as well.
In theory, if whatever the person can see backstage should be seen in the graphic toolkit, then
Yeah.
permission wise.
And then you just need something that's on stage to display the results. You can't display the results from backstage. You need something that's on stage to display the results. So maybe your OBS vMix Mimo Live is out there on the stage.
And again, you could do
give the
very
graphics.
easily what John and I do too, is that, you know, as I did now with him queuing me up to actually show the logo, a little more visual cue. If, you know, if the poll result was coming up, you could actually just have that graphic machine join the webinar, show the poll as a spotlight, and then leave again.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking that I'm going to have a production studio at the front of everything, and that will probably have a 2 up or a 3 up. So when Mike and I turn up on the screen, we'll be at the side, and then I'll have a big screen which I'll share whatever content or slides I'm doing. And I think I would then put all the emojis to scroll up over that. So if I'm doing a slideshow, I'll have the emojis scrolling up over the slideshow. And then if I go full video, then I'd have the graphics coming up over me. But if I was, you know, showing some content or demonstrating something, I would have the emojis and the reactions and the questions. If somebody asked them, I'd have them all appear on that bigger version of the screen.
Or
and if it doesn't work, I'll tell you next week because I'll be using it 3 times.
There must be a way in when you set up a template in production studio that you can define an area outside of the frames.
Yeah, it's got some templates that you can play around with, but I think you need to understand HTML graphics to be able to do it.
Yep.
But again, too, there's also, I think, if I remember correctly, Josh told us that you can have safe areas, which means that certain areas of the video, should you want to overlay something on top of that outside of production studio, you could. And I'm pretty sure this is what Jonathan and Andy and maybe the crew, Zoom Events crew back in the day might have actually done.
Well, the template examples that they give are just HTML graphics, divs and layouts.
Oh,
so
there you go.
If you have a reasonable understanding of how CSS works, and you could even cheat and use, you know, your favorite AI to help you, you could customize your own set of graphics templates for this. And yeah, once you've created them, you'd be able to use them over and over again, Robert.
Yeah, and again, all you need to do is if you had corporate colors from your brands, from your customers, just figure out what the actual hex code is from that, and then everything can be, the background could be the hex code, the foreground could be another color of theirs. Again, if they have a specific, like we do for an example, would be like as we had today, and I'll show this because Ray's actually still with us. So Ray's actually got our logo up there. So you see where we got our yellow with the blue T and the yellow again. That was made by Jeff way back in the day for our Zoom Test Kitchen logo. You could easily have, certain text yellow, certain text black, certain text blue, right? And again, as long as you had the converted from your customer's brand pages, hopefully, or brand toolkit, or brand media kit, get the colors in, and then just convert those to hex, you could easily make any HTML graphic with those colors in it to their specific color.
Because this is exactly what they do on office hours when they bring up the questions using Backstage on, sorry, not using Backstage, but Production Studio.
Sure. But how are they bringing that in, though, Robert? The
This is
actual.
what I don't know. I need to check and speak with Josh and find out how he's doing that.
Josh, Zoom Josh, or
No,
Josh
no, not Zoom Josh. Josh what's
at
his
office hours
Yeah,
with Alex. Yeah. Okay.
I've forgotten Josh's name now.
Too many Joshes, too many Rays, too many Johns.
Hoffman, thank you very much.
Oh.
Hasmuk has risen from his beds.
So yes, Hasmuk, yes, we were testing that live. So hopefully you saw that, and you didn't actually fall asleep. You might have been listening to us, then went, "Wait a minute, I got to see what's going on there." So yeah,
Hasmuk and I have been talking about it, that we want to play with this. So this has been the opportunity. Appreciate it, Mike and John. But I need to collapse now because I have just gone. It is coming up to 12:30, half an hour past midnight. So way past my bedtime.
All right, and I will officially say that we answered the question live. All right, and we've answered.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Robert.
Thanks, Robert.
Great to see you. Take care. Have a good weekend.
And you guys, that long weekend. Bye.
Yep. Take care. All right, Mr. Drinkwater. So that was,
and of course, Robert will be with us the week after next.
Yes, that's right. Yes, that's right. We forgot to say that. Yes, that's correct. Robert will not be joining us this Tuesday, but in 2 weeks on Tuesday, Robert will be joining us live.
Yeah, on the 9th.
John, have we firmed a time?
9th at 3 p.m. EDT.
Okay, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. On the Lord
Zoom, be talking
Lounge.
Foreign languages.
And going into a little more in depth on how to utilize that in Zoom and possibly even set it up. That's up to Robert, how far we go. So join us in 2 weeks on the Lord Zoom Lounge. All right, cool. Mr. Franklin is still with us. Tony Mobley, you're still with us as well. Hasmuk, thank you. Oh, Hasmuk just went to sleep finally. That's good. It's very late there, and I think Hasmuk is South Africa, right? I think I remember that. But yeah, absolutely. So okay, so yeah, we had a jam-packed Zoom Test Kitchen this week with Josh joining us. Absolutely. And still some outstanding questions for me, but they would be more oriented towards asking Josh specifically, just to make sure that some of the marketing jives with what we talked about on Tuesday, John. Some of those things are still officially outstanding. If you did miss our Lord Zoom Lounge, where John and I actually went step by step through every different feature of webinars and webinars, yes, as Josh taught us today, webinars and webinars plus, not webinar plus. Yeah, so everything's plural. So yeah, and David did change the, as I said mentioned before, the Discord channel. It's now reflecting, it's no longer Zoom sessions events. It's now got the new name. So check that out on Discord. And all right, and I will throw it back to the YouTube audience before we close out, before this long Labor Day weekend here in US and Canada. Labor with an O for the States and labor with OUR ending in Canada. If you have any further questions for John and I before we disappear this week, let us know in YouTube chat. All right. And I'm looking at John, and John is deep in thought. I don't know why. I think he's up to something. I'm just letting you know, YouTube audience. What could Johnny be up to? I don't know. Oh, all right. So I'll go over a couple of things that we were talking about too. So Robert was mentioning, can you access the graphic toolkit remotely? Yes, dangerously. You could officially grab the HTML if you did connect up the graphic toolkit remotely and you'd have to open up the port publicly. You should be able to, at any location, be able that as long as well, we had problems with David earlier, as long as you're not doing localhost and you're actually broadcasting to the public side of your PC's IP address, and that IP address is properly routed through your router. And if you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then you probably don't want to do this. So it is a little more technical on the network side and could be a bit unsecure because of the fact that graphic toolkit probably is not graphic toolkit as it stands right now is not really meant to be usable remote, right? Because it's just a web server by default. And we don't know what security levels have been put in place for that. But in theory, just like you can view the actual HTML page locally on your local network, if that port is available on a different network, you should be able to come into that port and see the HTML graphics that you're doing on that PC that's running the graphic toolkit, PC or Mac that's running that graphic toolkit.
But they will need to solve that HTTPS issue because
Correct. Yeah, because again, that's the WebKit that all of us, OBS, vMix, Ecamm, Mimo Live, quickly, I'll gloss over this. As most of you know, when you actually surf the internet now, if you put in the website address, most web browsers will automatically put in at the beginning HTTPS : before the domain name. And that is something that has now been put in as sort of a default in Chromium. And if you're familiar with web browsers, majority of web browsers on the internet, which include Microsoft Edge, Google Chrome 100%, and others, including our friends at Zoom Workplace. Everybody does use Chromium-based technology, and within the actual Chromium code itself as well. So in the vMix world, the OBS world, I can vouch that they both use the Chromium browser. It looks like to me that Ecamm and also Mimo Live probably is in the same boat, where they're probably using, if they're not using Chromium, they're probably using whatever Safari is using in the background. Johnny, do you happen to know that offhand?
No.
No. Okay. But let's assume that it might be different. If it is different, then again, Safari has probably also done this as well. This is the problem that David was having before, where the HTTPS was being forced into Ecamm, and that's why he couldn't bring it in. And officially, right now, the way that the graphic toolkit runs is it's running as a regular unsecured web server. But the Ecamm and the Mimo Live and the vMix and the OBS are all looking for HTTPS type connections to the graphic toolkit. And right now can't be done because there would have to be some additional SSL capabilities added to the graphic toolkit to allow for HTTPS calls from software. And again, of course, the majority of the web is now moved away from HTTP and over to HTTPS. So that is where that will come into play. Yes, John.
vMix worked. vMix didn't worry about that issue.
Oh, it didn't. Okay. So again, this might be a software, it varies on your software developer skill set. So Martin from vMix obviously is put into the consideration that he might be calling HTTP as well as HTTPS. And to be fair, I think Robert, it would have broke on OBS as well. So Robert was, for it to work out with OBS, it must be accepting HTTP as well. So bit of a learning curve for our friends in Mac by the sounds of it, for at least the Ecamm world anyways. To be able to call in, I don't know enough about H2R graphics, John, and I'll throw that at you if you do or not, if that will work as HTTP or not. Or they've done HTTPS as well on H2R graphics. I don't know that answer. I've not run it enough, so I can't vouch for that. Something's telling me that probably just HTTPS would be my thought.
Don't know off the top of my head what they're using.
Right. So again, it might be just an Ecamm thing. I don't know if it's a Mimo Live thing because we did not test that, but right now we've tested vMix and it's working. Which obviously so does the Andy and Jonathan. vMix is working. OBS is obviously working because Jonathan did the demo using OBS. So again, that worked. And those are both calling HTTP. Where David tried to use it in Ecamm and what the process he was doing to actually bring that HTML in, it was upset because it was putting automatically, it was changing the HTTP into HTTPS. So right now it might be isolated just to Ecamm, but the plot thickens and we don't officially know that answer as of yet. But John is correct that if certain software is going to mandate HTTPS, which is not a bad thing, but again, it's an additional step that would need to be in the graphic toolkit to be able to accept HTTPS secure socket layer connections between the software or hardware of choice back to the actual HTML pages that are being generated by the graphic toolkit. John, I did all that right, correct?
That was good. That was good.
All right. Anything else, John, before we wrap it up for this week?
No, I'll see you all Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday.
Yes, sir.
Check out lordzoom.com and join us.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And,
so officially, I'm with John on Tuesday, but yes, John is doing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and
I've made a promise that I'll use Production Studio, so that will be interesting because that'll be another tool to add to my list of tools.
That's right.
I can need another computer. That one.
You
Ooh.
need another computer.
Ooh,
Oh, no.
I can use that one. What's cool about that one is it's a Dell with a touch screen.
Uh-oh.
So though you can't use Stream Decks with Production Studio, if it's a touch screen, I can just, and it should work. Oh, that would be interesting.
Oh, Guess what John's doing all weekend?
Touchy, touchy.
Touchy, touchy. Touchy, touchy on the touchy screen. Absolutely. Very cool. All right. Let's wrap it up, John, and we'll bring it out. So don't forget, we're here every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern, and we're going to wrap it up this week with the Deep House 2 version of the Zoom Test Kitchen theme. Here we go. Sing it.
Welcome to the Zoom Test Kitchen where the magic happens live. Every Friday we're on air testing tech to thrive. From screen share to breakout rooms, we push Zoom to its max. So sit back, relax, and let's see what's in our tech hacks. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. We'll dive into the settings, explore every single tab. Make sure your mic is clear, your camera not a drab. We'll show you how to host like a pro, manage like a king. With Zoom Test Kitchen, you'll be zooming with a zing. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. Whether you're new to Zoom or an expert in disguise, we've got tips and tricks, we'll open up your eyes. From polls to quizzes, we test functionalities. Join us live, see what Zoom does with these. So if your meetings lag or you can't share your screen, or if your audio echoes like you're stuck in between, we've got solutions, we'll show you how it's done. Zoom Test Kitchen, where Zoom fun has begun. Zooming in, we're testing it all. Live on YouTube each week. From audio to video, no feature we won't tweak. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen crew, here to innovate. Join the fun, learn the tech, don't be late. So tune in, don't miss out on this tech fest we lead. Every Friday, Zoom Test Kitchen, where you'll succeed. We'll make your Zoom meeting smooth, keep the tech in check. In the Zoom Test Kitchen, we've got your back. No wreck. We're the Zoom Test Kitchen, we've got your back. No wreck.
All right. Zoom Test Kitchen community, were you singing out there? Hopefully to the karaoke version. Thanks everyone for joining us this week. And we want to especially thank Josh Bragg from Zoom, the Zoom webinars and events team, for joining us this week and walking us through all the new changes to Zoom, from Zoom sessions to Zoom Webinar Plus, and also the events, and also showing us Production Studio in the cloud. It was awesome that he could join us, and we look forward to Josh returning to the show very, very soon. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel to let YouTube know how much you like our content, and it's very, very important so that we could have more Zoomies come visit us here on the Zoom Test Kitchen. So it's great to have Josh, and we'll see who we can bring up in the coming months. See everyone next week, and don't forget we're here every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific, next week for another edition of the Zoom Test Kitchen. Take care, everybody on YouTube. Off to the living room.